treatment in hospital. Acting Provincial Deputy Police Commissioner Fred Kekana says the house where some of the victims were found was allegedly used as a drug den.
As a community, we take our own space, ensure that we protect our streets. No drugs must be sold. If sold, we deal with those people by reporting to police. In some cases, we even start going there as community to say, you stop this. You don't sell drugs here. You don't manufacture drugs here. Not in our space. Just that, on its own, it will be a deterrent.
In battle, Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has apologized for failing to provide evidence that he was threatened by KZN Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Mchunu yesterday was back in the hot seat before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption. He was taken to task by members of the committee after telling them that he would provide a recording between Mkhwanazi and his Chief of Staff, Cedric Nkabinde, where the threat against him was made. But Mchunu conceded that he doesn't have the recording, which he planned to submit to the committee as evidence. Babalondenza reports.
Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has failed to present evidence that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made veiled threats against him in recorded conversations between him and Chief of Staff Cedric Nkabinde. This led to calls from the EFF's Julius Malema for Mchunu to apologize for misleading the committee. He also called on Mchunu to withdraw his submission.
It's not a simple allegation to be made and just leave it like that. That allegation was made. Now there is an acceptance. There is no evidence to that effect. I was actually misled, and I therefore apologize. That is what we insist on, for this matter to be closed.
Mchunu conceded and apologized for failing to produce the audio.
I believe I made an honest mistake. I was under the impression that that part that I spoke about was actually there, and it was part of what was sent here.
Mchunu suggested that the committee should consider inviting Nkabinde, who will support his claims that he was threatened. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
In Pretoria, the motives of the country's head of organised crime, Richard Shibiri, have been questioned by a police officer at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Witness A yesterday wrapped up his 2-day closed session testimony from an undisclosed safe house. The detective is a member of a team investigating the murder of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart, who was killed last year. Among those arrested in connection with the murder is multimillionaire Katiso Katie Molefe, who is allegedly linked to police top brass. Oren Singh reports.
Several senior-ranking generals within police wanted to be briefed on the murder investigation of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart. The interest in the investigation was only heightened by the arrest of multimillionaire Katiso Katie Molefe in December last year. Testifying before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, a Gauteng detective alleged that the head of organised crime in SA, Richard Shibiri, possibly had an ulterior motive in wanting to know more about the investigations into Molefe.
I still do not know to this day whether General Shibiri is compromised in the sense that he is working for the syndicate.
He alleged that Shibiri was consistently checking in on the team's safety and well-being.
I think he did this because he knew the people we were going after are heartless and were very well connected.
Witness B, the investigating officer in the Swart case, will begin testimony when the commission resumes this morning. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
And North Korea has fired multiple ballistic missiles in its first such launch in months. This is just a week before world leaders, including US President Donald Trump, go to South Korea for a summit. Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff says that they have detected several projectiles believed to be short-range ballistic missiles. Seoul's military says the missiles were fired yesterday from an area south of the capital, Pyongyang. Donald Trump has said that he hopes to meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un possibly this year, following several meetings during his first time as president. Gold is trading at $4,269.73 an ounce. The rand is at 17.39 to the dollar, 23.26 to the pound, 20.19 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $61.01 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got faulty traffic lights reported in Midrand at the R55 and Waterfall Drive. They are bound to cause delays there, but pointsmen are on duty, as well as in Edenville at the N3 and Modderfontein Road.
And in your sport, huge Champions League wins for PSG, Inter, Barcelona, Arsenal, Newcastle and Dortmund. Manchester City were victorious in the night as well. SAFA fails to finalise coach Desiree Ellis' contract in time for today's WAFCON qualifier with the DRC in Kinshasa. The Proteas women get a 5th World Cup win in a row, beating Pakistan by 150 runs. The Proteas men resumed day 3 on 185 for 4 and replied to Pakistan's 333 in the second test.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg starting at 8 degrees, peaking at 23. Pretoria 11 and 25, Vereniging 8 and high of 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Gauteng police have identified drug abuse and gang violence as possible reasons behind a shooting in Westbury that left 2 teenagers dead and 5 others injured.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. If you've just joined us, it is a Wednesday. It's the 22nd of October, the year of our Lord 2025. So much on the go, so much in news this morning. But a shout out to you if you are in Duduza, if you are in Dunvegan, if you're in Eden Glen, if you're in Alsburg, in Sunny Rock, in Sunnyside, wherever you are around Johannesburg, around Tshwane, around Vereniging, the PWV area. Do you remember they used to call us that? Gauteng used to be the PWV area. But you may be listening to us from further afield. You might be in Rustenburg in the northwest. You might be in Durban in KZN. You might be in Cape Town. It doesn't matter. Around the world, we aim to bring you everything you need to know about what's happening in the news in South Africa. Our Africa report focuses on Uganda. The World Bank lifts a funding freeze, committing $2 billion to that country. What happened to all those anti-LGBTQI plus laws? Wasn't that the reason for the freeze in the first instance? Johannesburg, here's a debate. Are we criminalizing some of the most innovative hustlers in the city? We talk about the informal economy. These are people who are selling goods, whether they are cell phones or accessories or fruit and vegetables or clothes, making them accessible and affordable to the poor. Or are you far more interested in being able to walk on a clean pavement, on a clean street, without litter? Why now? Why did the officials let this kind of thing become so permanent? It's difficult to get rid of. Where are you on that debate?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
I was dropping an aunt of mine at the bus station, at Park Station. She was taking a bus to the Eastern Cape. And it was about 4 o'clock, 4:30 the day before yesterday, right? And I didn't want to go on the M1 because I knew how, that's a parking lot essentially at that time of the day. So I drove through Orange Grove and eventually made my way towards the tip of Berea going into Hillbrow. I deliberately used Claim Street, that is used mostly by the taxis. So I went past the old post office, which is dilapidated and closed, no signs, where the old phone booths used to be. I went past Bruce Street Supermarket. I know all these landmarks because I grew up in that area, all the way driving up the hill towards High Point. And it is messy. It is dirty. It's a slum. So when you look at cleanup efforts in the CBD, you're thinking, oh my gosh, come, spread it near and wide, far and wide. Go to Yeoville, go to Hillbrow, go to Berea. Don't just stop in the CBD. Go to Joubert Park, go to Bertram's. Spread it far and wide. Or do you say, hang on a minute. These people have made a living for 10, 12, 15 years, fully assured their stalls were safe. Why did the authorities allow it to happen in the first place? Because they were taking bribes, you see. Do you know how difficult it is to get those stalls registered properly? And now this informal market is booming, and because there's an election next year you want to clean up, you think after we vote next year, those stalls won't return? What are your thoughts? Where are you on that debate? That's our issue after 7.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
12 minutes after 6 o'clock. Here's today's shout out. How do you know, Amuramila and Muteo Khwaripe, my colleagues in the studio, what makes you not believe someone when they tell you something? Is it the way they move? Is it their body language? Perhaps the expression on their face? Is it an elaborate tale that just doesn't quite add up? What makes you listen to someone? You don't know. You can't prove that they're lying. But you are just going in your own head going, is not to make sure. Hey, Amo?
I think if the answer is not straightforward. Bongani, did you eat peanut butter and jelly this morning? Yes, I did. That's it. If the answer is no, you see, I first went into my bedroom and then I put my bags down. Then I went into the kitchen and I figured, I don't want peanut butter. When it's
long like that.
When it doesn't make sense, it doesn't have to be short or long. It can be long, but the truth, right?
Yeah.
But if it doesn't make sense,
okay,
I don't believe you.
Muteo, you know the PP Garage as you come off Grayston?
Yeah.
Opposite the McDonald's. There where I think there's a new Chinese bank. I think Investec is in that area as well. And then there's that rugby field. And as you approach the rugby field, you know where Old Cell C used
Did
to
you
be?
go to work or not?
There's by the turn. And then, so the car, it was raining. And so then, because you're about to approach Grayston, and you know how busy, you know when all of that information comes out.
Yeah.
And you're just like.
Yeah, so it's often the unnecessary detail, the persuasion, somebody telling you that, I mean, come on, I wouldn't lie. If they're selling you on the story, then I think that's another cue. There's a video I watched a few years ago by a guy called Phil Houston, who's a former CIA agent, and he was called the human lie detector. He wrote a book called Spy the Lie. And he also talks about those cues where somebody is aggressive when you ask them a question. And aggression is not only somebody being evasive, but also when they smile when you ask the question. That's also seen as aggression. Evasion, like you've just done, giving us unnecessary detail, but also asking someone to repeat their question so they buy you time.
So
Things
let's
like
play that game.
Yeah.
Spy the Lie. I love it. Let's play Spy the Lie. I want you to listen to also a former Secret Service agent, Evie Pomporis, speaking on the Diary of a CEO podcast with Stephen Bartlett, talking about how you spot lies.
Another one to look out for is emphatic no's. The truth is simple. If I ask you a question, you should be able to give me a yes or a no. So if I say to you, did you have pizza last night? No, I didn't have pizza. But if you turn around and you say, absolutely not, I did not have pizza, I would never have pizza. Why are you working so hard? Why are you working so hard to sell me that you didn't have pizza? Just pay attention to people's responses. The truth is simple. No, I didn't have pizza. Or yes. But if you get that really heavy-handed, you need to inquire by yourself and say, why is this person working so hard to sell me on the truth?
Well, while we're talking about all of this, did you watch the ad hoc committee in Parliament yesterday where the suspended police minister was making representations and explaining himself? One of the things that was at issue was, remember how much he's told us he doesn't know this man Madlanga, right? This is a guy who is in C-Max, in a maximum security prison. And he's insisted all along that he doesn't know him. In fact, the minister produced an affidavit from this man also saying, I don't know the minister. He was asked questions by the EFF leader, Julius Malema, who says, okay, so how did this man sitting in C-Max just offer to give you an affidavit if you don't know him? Have a listen.
Thanks, Chair. Good morning, Minister and colleagues. The SC is raising a very important point and is leaving it, where the minister says, I never solicited an affidavit from Madlanga. My lawyers are the ones, after listening to me so many times, they went to solicit the affidavit from Madlanga. and I wanted the SC to ask as to, are you saying your lawyers acted without an instruction? Because lawyers act on instructions of their clients. And minister should understand the implications of what he is saying about his lawyers, because they can be reported to LPC.
So Julius says, hang on, how did this guy offer you the affidavit? The minister says, well, of course it was through my lawyers. And he says, but did you instruct your lawyers to do so? And initially the minister gave the impression that the lawyers acted on their own volition, which is what Julius is challenging there. And he says, hang on, if lawyers act outside of the instructions of their clients, they themselves could end up in trouble, right? I mean, it was an extraordinary moment there where, again, he's having to explain how a guy sitting in CMAX just offers these affidavits voluntarily without being asked.
And so the express response is that I did express a wish that if I could, if anything could be possible. So I was wishing, and they carried out that wish.
So it was on your instructions that your lawyers approached Madlanga in CMAX to depose to this affidavit?
Yes.
So he says, I expressed a wish. That's how, remember Julius says, hang on, were the lawyers acting on their own? This guy says, no, I expressed that wish. Then later Julius Malema challenges him. He says, okay, hang on. So you tell your lawyers you want this done. When the affidavit comes, it doesn't come as a response to a request from your lawyers. It comes completely out of the blue. So how again did a guy sitting in CMAX know that you, Minister of Police, had expressed this wish, that he volunteers to give you an affidavit without your lawyers requesting it?
Where do I get that letter you were reading? Because I want to read it again. It doesn't say. If your lawyers approached those guys, they would have said, dear so-and-so, in line with the letter you wrote to us requesting affidavit from our client, please find attached affidavit. It says, dear so-and-so, we represent so-and-so, and therefore we represent Madlanga and the wife, and our client wishes to state it clear that he doesn't know the minister and this is the affidavit. So it's not what you are saying. Your wishes were never delivered to Madlanga by your lawyers, according to that.
According to that document. How did Madlanga know these were your wishes if there's no correspondence you can give us to show that your lawyers wrote to his lawyers? His lawyers aren't writing in response to a request. They're just offering voluntarily information that this guy doesn't know you. How? Let's play. What is it called, Mateo?
Spy the lie.
Spy the lie.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
20 after 6. Mateo, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know from you and 702 Landers this morning, do you have interesting hacks on how to keep your clothes in great condition for longer?
Ooh.
Do you perhaps have a way you store them over a particular season? Do you have a way you wash your clothes so they last longer?
No, I just try not to wear them too often, maybe is about the only thing I can say.
And you have a lot of clothes, my friend.
Wow.
For pleated skirts, when you've got pleated, especially for ladies, pleated skirts or kilts, if I were to call it, right? You put it nicely and you roll it and you put it inside a pantyhose so that those pleats can hold.
And they remain that way.
And they remain that way.
You don't have to iron them.
So you can still iron, but they will just remain pleated like that.
Okay,
more durable.
That's one hack.
Okay.
702.
Weather.
With the shade thrown my way, let's talk about the weather for today. A fine day in store for Gauteng. Temperatures will max a little higher than yesterday. 23 for Johannesburg, 25 for Pretoria, 26 in Vereeniging. That's the same high in Bombela. Bloemfontein maxes at 28, Durban 25. Cape Town, listen to this, a fine day in store with a temperature high of 35. Can anything beat blue skies and sunshine in Cape Town?
EWN Traffic.
21 after 6, this EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand.
Well, we've got delays, Bongani, on the N12 East. This is between Klipspruit Valley Road and the Golden Highway. This is in the Eldorado Park area. An accident has been reported there. Please be on the lookout. Try to use Klipspruit Valley and then turning off at Main Road towards the Golden Highway if you want to avoid this one. While traveling on the Mike 1 North, delays between Boysons and the Car Street exit. Peak time delays there. There's also peak time pressure along the N3 North in the Harrietdale area between the Elands Interchange and the Geldenhuys turn off. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
This There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car on the way to the hospital carrying an elderly couple, playfully bantering about who their first grandchild will look like. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's bringing two generations together. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702. Serving the 702 family in 702 land, including those of you in Boksburg. Named after South African Republic State Secretary Edward Bork, gold was discovered in Boksburg in 1887. It became one of the most important gold-producing towns on the Witwatersrand, as well as a diversified industrial center. Notable residents of Boksburg have included former Springbok rugby player Brian Habana, former WBA World Heavyweight Boxing Champion Gerrit Coetzee, and SACP and ANC leader Chris Hani. 702. Let's walk the talk across 702 land, including Boksburg.
Get ready, South Africa. Mzansi Ballet proudly presents Sean Bovim's Private Presley, the ballet, a spectacular reimagining of the life and legend of Elvis Presley. From his military days to his greatest loves, experience the rock and roll story told through breathtaking dance. Starring international ballet sensation George Wade from Mexico as Elvis and South Africa's own prima ballerina Angela Reevy as Priscilla. Beautiful singers Logan James and Patience Mahema bring some of his unforgettable songs to life. It's happening on stage at the Peter Tureen Theatre, Monte Casino, 24 October to 30 November. Book now at Web Tickets.
What you're hearing isn't a traffic accident. It's not panic braking. It's our amazing car-stopping 40th birthday deals. For a limited time only, Auto & General is offering great savings with our 40th birthday Ruby deals. Celebrate with us by visiting autogen.co.za for great personal and business car insurance savings. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online. Offer available for a limited time only.
There's strong. Then there's AfriSem Strong. So champion the build with AfriSem Cement, the trusted A1 choice for builders who demand nothing less than superior quality. Crafted for exceptional strength, proven durability, and proudly produced in Mzansi. Because some builds just aren't strong. They're built to last with AfriSem, proud official sponsor to the Springboks.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
We're playing Spy the Lie. Did you listen to the testimony of the minister at the ad hoc commission, ad hoc committee yesterday? Ad hoc commission, because there's the commission and there's the committee and there's the inquiry and there's the tribunal. Ooh, all right, let's talk. Things you need to know. This afternoon at 3 p.m., the International Court of Justice in The Hague is going to deliver its opinion on Israel's obligations when it comes to the occupied Palestinian territories. The UN asked the court to clarify whether Israel, as an occupying power, must allow and support UN and humanitarian operations, especially those of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. And you might argue the fact that the question even arises tells you all you need to know about this current Israeli leadership. Sanai Takaichi has made history by becoming Japan's first female prime minister yesterday. In her 19-member cabinet, she appointed just 2 women, highlighting the ongoing underrepresentation of women in Japanese politics. She's a 64-year-old conservative known as Japan's Iron Lady, and she wants to style her leadership from the lessons she says she learned admiring Margaret Thatcher. Meanwhile, the US President Donald Trump has shelved plans for a face-to-face meeting with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, saying he doesn't want a wasted meeting. We'll get the latest about his discussions with Volodymyr Zelensky from Adam Gilchrist in The World View. In Ducao, in the Ivory Coast, a town still scarred by election violence and mass killings over a decade ago, peace activists are using what they're calling reconciliation marriages to bring rival communities together. So they're actively encouraging people from the different sides to marry each other so that the children will bring peace to the community. Would you be part of a reconciliation marriage? Think of South Africa's past. To help us overcome our past, would you take one for the team for a reconciliation marriage? On a lighter note, we celebrate the birthday of raga superstar Shaggy, born Orville Richard Burrell on this day in 1968 in Kingston, Jamaica. It wasn't me, Bombastic, or Carolina. He went from serving as a U.S. Marine to topping global charts and winning 2 Grammy Awards.
Alright, honey came in and she got me red-handed, creepy with the girl next door. Picture this, we were both butt naked, banging on the bathroom floor. How could I forget that I had given her an extra key? All this time she was standing there, she never took her eyes off me.
Oh, you think the woman access to your villa? Trespass on a weakness, all of your clean on your pillar. You better watch your back before she turn into a killer. Just review the situation that you caught up in. To be a true player, you have to know how to play.
702.
The newspapers.
Wow, it wasn't you, Sfiso Zulu, ne?
No, it
it
definitely
wasn't
wasn't
you.
me.
It wasn't you. What's in the papers?
Good morning, Bongani. I'm taking a look at the Washington Post this morning. They're talking about a group of young people who are starting an AI agency. So they're working in the AI environment, and they're saying that they don't mind working hours and they want more people to join them, people who are addicted to work. And they are saying they're applying what they call 996. This is a term that's popularized in China that refers to a rigid work schedule in which people work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. So they're saying for us to succeed in this business, we need people who are addicted to work. We don't watch the hours, we just work. Of course, you can take time off and take a walk or go get your matcha, whatever, but we are addicted to work. We want people who are addicted to work. Are you addicted to work? Would you do that?
996, it wasn't me. I'm going to read a little bit from the editorial in the Sowetan this morning, and they're talking about the city of Joburg's crackdown on informal traders in Johannesburg's CBD, and they're saying, for decades, Joburg's inner city has been a hive of informal economic activities, street traders selling anything from fruit and clothing to cell phone accessories, and that's formed the backbone of this dynamic economic ecosystem. And they're arguing that in a country where the official unemployment rate remains staggeringly high, the informal sector is not a nuisance, it's a necessity. And they're saying the sudden and forceful removal of traders from pavements and the confiscation of goods and heavy police presence have turned what could have been a developmental initiative into an act of repression. Is that something you agree with?
EWN Business.
This business report is proudly brought to you by GIC. Through infrastructure-related projects, GIC sets a better standard of living. GIC, changing lives. The hacks to keep our clothes looking great for longer, Muteo. I say don't wear them too often. You judge me for that. What prompts the question?
I'm sorry.
Too often, I mean.
Fashion retail giant the Foschini Group says we're buying fewer clothes from its stores with consumer demand lower over the period. Foschini shares plummeted 18% in early trade after the fashion retailer warned of a decline in earnings for the 6 months ended in September. Now, the stock hit its lowest level since May of 2023, wiping 8 billion rand off its market value. The Foschini Group expects a drop in earnings due to weaker demand, stubborn inflation, and a tough trading environment. The retail group's sales grew 12.7%, but when you take away the sales that they made in the UK, they fall to about 3.5%. Online sales are looking good. They jumped 55%, now making up nearly 15% of retail sales at the Foschini Group, with South Africa's Bash platform up 40%. The retailer is facing stiff competition from Chinese online fast fashion giants Temu and Shein. Consumers are also tightening their belts, affecting sales in South Africa, the UK and Australia. Foshini says there's been a sharp contraction in customer activity towards the end of the period, saying the winter clearance sale promotion led to a 90 basis point margin contraction, contributing to a 9.7% fall in winter clothes, that particular segment.
Where's the rand?
Rand at this hour still looking quite good at 17 Rand 40 against the US dollar, 20 Rand 19 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 26 cents against the British pound. Price of gold lower this morning, $4,121 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,530. Brent crude at $62.30 a barrel. More business after 7.
Change requires skill, an agile body to fill the gaps. But real change moves collaboratively, progressively, enabling, because it knows what to do and how to improve the lives of the deserving. Through infrastructure-related projects, GIC actively brings change for the better, because real change sets a standard of living, of being. GIC, changing lives.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sviso Zulu, trouble at school.
That's right, Bongani. We start in Cape Town, where a principal at a high school in the city has assured parents that action will be taken against pupils who assaulted another child on school grounds. A video that has been widely shared online shows a group of pupils at Milnerton High School beating a fellow learner with belts, a hosepipe and a large stick. 2 other pupils were allegedly assaulted during the same attack. Carlo Peterson reports.
Milnerton High School principal Gert van Tonde yesterday wrote to parents saying disciplinary processes are set to follow this week. The SAPS has indicated a case of assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm is being investigated and arrests could follow. Family law expert Bert Spreller says the learner who recorded the video could also be held accountable.
I won't say they're complicit to it, but, not doing anything to prevent a crime from happening, you actually can become complicit.
The Western Cape Education Department has since appealed to the public to remove the video from social media platforms and report it as harmful content. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
South Africans have 30 days to submit a report on the DA's proposed bill seeking to repeal the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act. The party's Public Procurement Amendment Bill was officially gazetted yesterday for public comment. Among its many proposals, it seeks to do away with race requirements for companies that want to do business with the state, replacing it with an outcome-driven system. The DA's head of policy, Matthew Cuthbert, says the gazetting of the bill represents the first step of a legislative process that will bring a new empowerment policy, ending decades of what the party deems as BEE failure.
BEE has turned ANC insiders into billionaires, while 44 million South Africans have been relegated to poverty and 12 million are trapped in unemployment queues. The DA will not allow this to stand any longer because we care deeply about the people of South Africa.
The South African Weather Service has issued a warning of extremely uncomfortable conditions for parts of the Western Cape today. The heat is expected mostly in the West Coast as well as Swellendam and Hasikwa municipalities. The City of Cape Town Sonika Lateghan from the Disaster Management Centre says the heat also poses a risk of possible fires.
The conditions that have been forecasted can also promote the spread of fires, so we ask that everyone please be vigilant and report any sign of fire to the city's Public Emergency Communication Centre on 021 480 7700.
An appeals court in Colombia has overturned former President Alvaro Uribe's conviction. The 73-year-old was sentenced to 12 years of house arrest for fraud and bribery in August following a 6-month trial. It's alleged that he ordered a lawyer to bribe jailed paramilitaries to discredit claims he had ties with their organizations. The court says the conviction had structural deficiencies and lacked a comprehensive analysis. A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 8 and 11 degrees, peaking at highs between 23 and 25.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 East in the Eldorado Park area. This was due to an accident right near the Golden Highway. Delays coming out of Klipspruit Valley Road, about a 20-minute hold up there. While travelling on the N3 North, queuing traffic between Marlborough Drive and the Maclew interchange due to roadworks.
The top story this hour, Milnerton High School has assured parents that action will be taken against pupils who assaulted a fellow learner.
Feel the rhythm of summer at the Old Mutual Music in the Gardens, featuring Mikasa and Jazeel Brothers, live on Saturday, 25 October at the Walter Sisulu Botanical Garden. Experience soulful sounds, sunshine, and good vibes in one of Joburg's most beautiful settings. Get your tickets now at webtickets.co.za. Proudly presented by Old Mutual, 702 and Breakout Events.
Change is an unannounced visitor. It can derail you or delight you. It's pushy, inescapable, intriguing. Change is motivating. Change is action. Change has places for you to be. Change is opportunity. We always have our door open to it. For over 3 decades, we've been committed to seeking out the best investment opportunities for you, wherever they may be. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Rent up. Food up. Electricity up. Everything up, up, up. Except demos at Motor Select. This Friday and Saturday only, we're bringing prices down on demo models from leading brands. Trade your car in and get up to 100,000 Rand trade-in assist in our Demo Deal Dash. 2 days only. Visit SA's largest dealer network at motorselect.co.za to shop our demo range.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, box. As to lying, and I tend to agree with that video, that sound clip that you just played a few moments ago. When someone is really, really trying hard, not only to say it as many times as they can, but to tell as many people, trying to solicit some support, you know that chances are that you're likely to have a split. And the more you tell, if the split is towards your side, chances are that you'll be believable, or you'll want to get people to believe you. And talking from experiences, I'm facing the same scenario at work. Have a good day. Thank you.
To you, Bongani, you asked a question about how you detect a person is a liar. In life, there are pathological liars. There are people who pretend to be asleep when they are not sleeping, actually. So when you have dealt with a pathological liar, all you do is just that you pretend to be listening because you know what the consequences of your having listened to him or her are. The person is a pathological liar. He never can tell the truth.
Hey, there's if you've ever dealt with somebody who just lies for no reason. I mean, I'm not saying that people who lie when they're in trouble are any better necessarily, but you can almost understand, right? It might be a knee-jerk response, a trauma response, whatever. Cindy, have you ever met somebody who'll just volunteer a story out of the blue, unprovoked, unsolicited, and they tell a story and you're sitting there going, pass the salt.
I've got some friends who will not necessarily lie about the story, but they'll lie about the facts around the story. And we've got this friend, and we always knew that maybe her tails were a bit long. Like, well, how big was the actual fish you caught? And then she met her now husband, and he corrects her.
Oh, really?
He always goes,
No.
"No, but now you're over exaggerating." Or no, but now it wasn't like that. It wasn't that big. So but also for them, it's just sometimes the way people just tell a story, and so
they're not conscious.
So there's reason people lie, right? Because sometimes it's a case of, as a child, you got into so much trouble, so it's easier to lie as an adult to get you out of trouble. But also sometimes people lie to make their lives seem significant and important.
Yeah, I have a cousin who will tell you, Cindy. So let's say the three of us, you, me, and Amo, are sitting together. This cousin will tell a story about you, Cindy, to the rest of us. You are there, and you won't remember a single detail of the story she's telling. But it will have all the bells and whistles and all the dramas. And then we sit there, of course, Amo and I believe it. And you're looking at us going, what is she talking about? And, you know, when you kind of know those people, you sort of let their stories ride out and you say, pass the salt.
EWN Sport.
What is no lie, Cindy, is the number of goals that were scored in the Champions League yesterday.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable night. 43 goals, 5 red cards, 6 penalties awarded. Defending champions PSG thrashed Leverkusen 7-2 to top the table.
Wow.
Last year's runners-up Inter Milan beat Union 4-0. Arsenal scored 4 goals within 13 minutes to cruise past Atletico Madrid 4-0 as well. Gyökeres with 2 goals. Barcelona crashed Olympiacos 6-1. Lopez with a hat-trick there. Rashford scored 2. Dortmund beat Copenhagen 4-2. Newcastle with a 3-0 win over Benfica. Eindhoven thrashed Napoli 6-2. Manchester City beating Villarreal 2-0 away from home. City boss Pep Guardiola.
I know a tough place to come. So it's a fantastic organization and club, and we played really, really good. Second half, we made the positional game too deep, so we have to make a positional game in their half, and we didn't do that. But at the end, they have 1-2 chances. But in general, we play a fantastic game. Get to know how tough his opponent, and now it's a good step for us, for this tournament.
Banyana starts their Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifying campaign without Desiree Ellis, who's not in Kinshasa for today's game with the DRC. Ellis's contract with SAFA was not finalised in time. She's been on a monthly contract since the Olympics. Proteas women got their 5th successive win at the Cricket World Cup. They thrashed Pakistan by 150 runs, the Duckworth-Lewis method. They scored their highest ever World Cup total, 312 for 9, thanks to Captain Wolfarts with 92. Sine Liss made 61, but the player of the match was Marzan Kapp, who was unbeaten on 68 and took 3 wickets.
Lucky to be getting on the park and finishing our games. It was a bit tight today with the rain there. I think that's the beauty of this World Cup. You don't only rely on one person. It's been different people picking up their hands. So that's always good. At least now everyone's had a good hit out. Everyone's had a good ball. So it feels like we're just getting better as we move forward.
They are getting better as they move forward from that first defeat. Such a good run. What did you say off air?
I hope it lasts.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. The win put South Africa top of the table with 1 game against Australia to go. The 2 unbeaten sides in the World Cup, Australia and England, and they battle today. The Proteas men will resume day 3 today on 185 for 4 in reply to Pakistan's 333 in the second test. In the middle will be Stubbs on 68, Verena on 10. They lost in order: Rickleton for 14, Markram for 32, Dezorzi for 68, and then Brevis for a duck. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Welcome to the brand new days.
Sail the world with Norwegian Cruise Line, with more to see, more to do, and more to enjoy. Plus, upgrade your holiday with NCL's More at Sea for premium beverages, specialty dining, and much more. Think international cruising. Think NCL. For the best deals available, visit ncl.com or contact your travel agent. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to the brand new days.
48-year-old Felicity spotted an outsurance deal that was too good to drive past. She now pays only 836 Rand a month for her 2020 Hyundai Tuscan. The 52-year-old Janine was all smiles when outsurance gave her a premium of just 561 Rand a month for her 2024 Kia Picanto 1.2. Ready to get more out of your insurance? SMS out to 45142 today. So that's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Huawei Watch GT6 Series, 2025's must-have smartwatch, introducing the king of power. Up to 21 days of unstoppable battery life in a sleek titanium and ceramic design that's as strong as it's stylish. The Trackmaster with 24/7 heart rate tracking, sleep monitoring, advanced health management, and the world's first cycling virtual power feature. Fully compatible with both iOS and Android. Get yours now from just 169 Rand a month over 36 months or 4,999 Rand at selected retailers. T's and C's apply.
For the first time ever, the G20 summit is being hosted on African soil. Solidarity, equality, sustainability. So every Friday, we bring you the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, courtesy of RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 summit. The news, the views, the insights, the breakthroughs. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702 from RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
Summit returns on 5 and 6 November at the Sandton Convention Centre in partnership with Standard Bank and 702. Expect higher stakes, bolder ideas, and bigger names. Hear from Grace Andrews, creator entrepreneur, former brand director for Stephen Bartlett and The Diary of a CEO. Experience the Big Pitch Finals, where South Africa's brightest startups compete live for $1 million in funding. Get your tickets at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org.
The Market Theatre invites you to two outstanding plays. Step into Afropocalypse, the Standard Bank Gold Ovation Award winner at the National Arts Festival, where the whole family can visit a post-apocalyptic Africa and meet storytellers who share fables of greed, mortality, religion, and unconditional love. Then enter Barbershop Chronicles, the international hit play that celebrates connection and brotherhood in 6 barbershops in Africa and London. Visit markettheatre.co.za to buy your tickets.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 in brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
EWN Traffic.
Catch up with the roads now, 12 to 7, a crash on the N12 East. Amo?
Yes, Bongani, that's in the Eldorado Park area. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. This is between Klipspruit Valley Road and the Golden Highway exit. About a 20-minute hold up there. At this particular point, it will take you about 40 minutes to get towards the M1 if you're heading towards the Joburg CBD. While traveling on the N3 North, we've got delays between the Elands interchange and the Geldenhuys turnoff. Roadworks are taking place along this route, causing some heavy delays there. There's also queuing traffic along the N1 North between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive. Please be on the lookout and continue driving with care. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Now, the all-new Audi A5 has arrived with a panoramic sunroof that changes transparency and a B&O sound system built into the headrests. Every detail makes driving feel like an art form. Visit your Audi dealership, book a test drive, and experience the Audi A5. It's only from 14,499 Rand per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za for more. T's, C's apply. Brought to you by Audi Financial Services, a division of Volkswagen Financial Services South Africa, Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Here's the thing about running a business. It needs constant connection with reliable communication between you, your staff, and customers. That's why the right partnership matters. Get Cloud PABX from Telkom Business, a unified communication solution that makes connecting easy from just 161 rands per month.
This summer, your business deserves the best. Visit telkom.co.za/business for deals that keep your business online all the time. T's and C's apply. Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
Naked people run faster because naked people spend less time on insurance admin and more time working on their personal bests. Go to naked.insure now. Get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds and get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Bong, back in 2013, City of Johannesburg took informal traders off the streets. They had to go to constitutional court to be able to allow to trade again. Why is there not an informal token system? You buy your token for $20 for the day, and you have your square, you trade there, you know? I don't know. Maybe the solutions are too simple.
But politicians, they will never win. You know, it's people like us. We cry about the cleanliness and the dirtiness and whatever in the CBD. Now they are cleaning up. Now we are questioning their motives. They will never win. They will never win.
Look, we'll hear both sides of that debate after 7 o'clock. The city says they want to make sure that this trading is happening with clear regulations. They want the traders to trade in specific areas and pay a small fee to be able to do so. But the idea of trashing the city is something they say they will no longer tolerate. But as you are pointing out in some of those voice notes, we've seen this movie before.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Today we're playing with 12-year-old Alexa, who goes to Cornerstone College, and Alexa wants to win 10,000 Rand. Good morning, Alexa.
Hello.
Are you ready to play?
Yes, I am ready.
Yes, you are ready to play. Here we go. KG, start the clock. Spell the word system.
S-E. Pass.
S-Y-S-T-E-M. True or false? The next leap year will be in 2028.
True.
Correct. Which sport uses a larger ball, soccer or volleyball?
Soccer.
Correct. What is the name of the planet that Superman comes from?
Jupiter.
Krypton. Which animal's name is also used for a pedestrian crossing?
Pass.
A zebra. True or false? Canada has 2 official languages.
True.
Correct. How many colors are there in a rainbow?
7.
Correct. Whose nose grew longer every time he lied?
Pinocchio.
Correct. What animals eat both meat and plants?
Omnivore.
Correct. What is 33 plus 44?
Pass.
77, and that's all the time we have for you. Alexa, not a bad round. You had a wobble there in the middle, but you recovered very nicely. 6 correct answers, and that means you walk away with 600 Rand.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? Brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand is up for grabs. You send us an answer based on something you heard on the show that piqued your interest. We'll give you $1,000. Simply WhatsApp us your name and that answer to 072 702 1702. Then later, someone else asks a question to get your answer to win themselves 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
The Africa Report.
All right, let's catch up now with news from elsewhere in, or at least on the continent. We are joined now this morning by Thokozile Madongo, who is a researcher at the Southern Center for Inequality Studies and Public Economy Project based at Wits University. We're talking, of course, about the breakthrough for Uganda's economy you heard about this week. After 2 years, the World Bank is set to lift its freeze on that economy. They're going to inject $2 billion into the country's infrastructure and private sector. This after the government made assurances on inclusion and human rights. You remember, of course, the very reason for that freeze was Uganda's anti-gay laws, which to my knowledge have not changed. So why this move by the World Bank? A very good morning to you, Thokozile Madongo, and thank you so much for your time. Welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning, you listener.
Oh, our line is just not clear. Can you hear us? Can we try that again?
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me? I can hear you clearly.
Not very clearly, I'm afraid, but let's try and see how far we get. All right, so what explains this lift by the World Bank after 2 years? What do you make of that decision? And has Uganda done enough to warrant it?
It's a catch-22, Bongani, because essentially Uganda is struggling with high levels of debt, high levels of inequality and poverty, and has been hit quite hard in terms of its health expenditure from the withdrawal of USAID from its health system and health expenditures. So it needs some kind of support. But the problem is politically and in terms of its democratic features, it hasn't really changed much since the freeze was implemented in 2023.
So how is it a catch-22? If they want this money, they must repeal those laws. Isn't it that simple?
It is that simple, and it's also about not only repealing the making sure they take measures to protect sexual and gender minorities in the country, but they should also ensure that there's a greater oversight over the funding, because Uganda has been riddled with scandals over World Bank financing. So the World Bank itself has dealt with massive scandals over transport, over, in fact, projects that were geared towards women economic empowerment in the country. And so there's very little oversight over and transparency over the use of these funds.
Sorry to come in there. Is there a place for saying, hang on, the World Bank is all about economic development. It shouldn't get involved in domestic politics, even if human rights are affected?
So when you're looking at issues of inequality, poverty, and sexual and gender discrimination, that is a developmental issue, Bongani. And so if you're not centering care and the care economy, which is looking after everybody in your country, then it's unlikely that you're going to have a just economic development project. And so we see that the cynic in me is saying that this is really about extraction. It's about the World Bank returning to its old values of just making sure that it is pursuing its own interests in relation to the extractive industry on our continent, in particular, oil and gas in the case of Uganda and other kinds of minerals. So one has to be skeptical about whether this is even about economic development.
So you're saying this plays directly, of course, into President Museveni's hands. There's money to be made here. The World Bank says human rights be damned.
Absolutely. And there's interests in making sure that geopolitically the region is stable, but also, there is such a strong emphasis around critical minerals on the continent. And we have to be very, very careful about this debate around critical minerals because it's an extractive project. And generally, populations do not benefit from the direct use of those kinds of resources. Just think of our own in Mpumalanga.
Gosh, there's now even speculation that President Museveni could extend his rule, and that's precisely what I'll call it. He's been there since 1986, and now there's the real prospect he may still be there beyond 2030.
Absolutely. I mean, this is not an administration or a country that is running along, sort of classic democratic lines. And so I'm not surprised to hear that, there's a kind of hunkering down of the administration for as long as it can.
There are critics who've argued for a long time that the World Bank and the IMF, their funding models perpetuate dependency by poor countries. And of course, one of the things they do is to attach these loan conditions that limit local autonomy. That doesn't seem to be the case here, at least not politically.
It is the case. The World Bank and the IMF do not lend without conditions, and they do so in more subtle ways than they used to in the 1980s. And we see that the main kind of contradictions in the funding is the way in which the public services function. So Action Aid did a very good report on this 2 years ago on looking at Uganda and the impact of IMF loans, for example. And often the IMF and World Bank kind of mirror each other in terms of the conditionalities, and along with the rating agencies, which is about saying we want a lean state, we want very little investment in public services. We want space for the private sector to be able to do what it can do without the necessary regulations, so labor rights. So the conditions are implicit in the nature of the funding.
Thokozile, these Bretton Woods institutions are still very dominated by the Americans. How much does this shift also indicate some kind of nod towards this current Trump administration and this White House?
Exactly. There hasn't been enough attention paid to influence of the Trump administration on these lending institutions, particularly in terms of the World Bank. There has been rumors of restructuring of the World Bank. I've spoken to World Bank officials and in confidence, and they're worried about the changing influence that they're expected to play.
Appreciate your time. Thokozile Madongo from the University of Wits the researcher at the Southern Center for Inequality Studies.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
The rights of traders versus clean cities. Should Joburg continue with its mop-up operations, or are they going to create more socio-economic challenges for those informal traders who will lose out? Both sides of that debate coming up.
This is EWN.
The lack of police presence has been blamed to increase deadly violence in Westbury, and Andiswa Mango's lawyers insist she was sexually harassed by Judge President Selby Mbenenge. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Residents in Westbury are blaming police for a shooting that left 2 teenagers dead and 5 others critically injured. The boys between the ages of 13 and 19 were shot in what is believed to be a gang-related shooting yesterday. The community says if there was better policing, the people who attacked the group would be arrested by now. Tando Lutle Mobile reports.
While police say they are on the hunt for the 4 suspects involved in the shooting, seething community members say that it's just a lip service.
Like I told them, I can go with them to the places. All 4 places have been now. They still taking long. I'm waiting for them.
Preliminary investigations suggest 4 teenagers approached the 7 victims who were sitting and smoking inside a house on Cruiser Street yesterday. Police say 3 of the suspects were carrying guns and opened fire before walking away. One of the 5 injured boys has been transferred to another hospital due to the severity of his injuries. Thando Luhlingcobo, Eyewitness News.
Embattled Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has apologized for failing to provide evidence that he was threatened by KZN Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Mchunu was yesterday back in the hot seat before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating police corruption. He has taken or was taken to task by members of the committee after telling them that he would provide a recording between Mkhwanazi and his chief of staff, Cedric Nkabinde, where the threat against him was made. But Mchunu conceded that he doesn't have the recording, which he planned to submit to the committee as evidence. Babalon Denza reports.
Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has failed to present evidence that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made veiled threats against him in recorded conversations between him and Chief of Staff Cedric Nkabinde. This led to calls from the EFF's Julius Malema for Mchunu to apologize for misleading the committee. He also called on Mchunu to withdraw his submission.
It's not a simple allegation to be made and just leave it like that. That allegation was made. Now there is an acceptance. There is no evidence to that effect. I was actually misled, and I therefore apologize. That is what we insist on, for this matter to be closed.
Mchunu conceded and apologized for failing to produce the audio.
I believe I made an honest mistake. I was under the impression that that part that I spoke about was actually there, and it was part of what was sent here.
Mchunu suggested that the committee should consider inviting Nkabinde, who will support his claims that he was threatened. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Lawyers for the woman accusing Eastern Cape Judge President Selbin Benenge of sexual harassment have argued that she's not a perfect victim, but they insist her version of events should be believed. Arguments in this case were made yesterday and the verdict has been reserved. Andiswa Mengo's lawyers have argued that the alleged advances made by Benenge were unwanted, but she gave in when he persisted. They also argued that the alleged badgering of Benenge constitutes sexual harassment. Mengo's lawyer, advocate Nasreen Rajab Batliner.
And she said, I asked her specifically, why did you engage in sexual banter with him? Why did you respond to his sexual questions? And she said she didn't know what else to do. Nothing that she had tried had worked. And she thought maybe if she engages with him, he'll leave her alone.
And International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says he's optimistic that South Africa will get a 1-year extension on AGOA when the U.S. government reopens for business. The 2025 government shutdown extended into day 21 yesterday, making it one of the longest in U.S. history with no end in sight. The shutdown comes amid a fight in the Senate over federal funding priorities. In addition to the impact in the U.S., the stalemate has also settled South Africa's bid to renew the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which lapsed last month. AGOA, which was established in 2000, exempts eligible African countries from taxes on their exports to the US. Speaking at the Financial Times Africa Summit in London yesterday, Lamola told delegates that he's optimistic the region will get a reprieve when the US government shutdown ends.
It remains a very strategic platform of our trade with the US, but not only with the US, with some of the countries in the sub-Saharan African continent.
He says efforts to lower tariffs are also promising.
You can't fully separate AGOA from the tariffs. The tariffs, they technically nullify AGOA. So that's why the negotiations also on the tariffs remains important, so that they still enable AGOA to function.
Gold is trading at $4,125.17 an ounce. The rand is at 17.39 to the dollar, 23.26 to the pound, 20.19 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.31 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Greenstone. It's along Van Riebeek Road, right at Moerfontein Road. It is causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. While in Eldorado Park, we're still dealing with that scene along the N12 East, right near the Golden Highway, causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Klipspit Valley Road.
And in your sport, 43 goals in the Champions League last night with easy wins for Arsenal, Barcelona, PSG Dortmund and Eindhoven. Banyana without coach Desiree Ellis for today's WAFCON qualifier with the DRC due to stalled contract negotiations. Proteas women thrashed Pakistan by 150 runs at the Cricket World Cup, while the Proteas men resumed day 3 on 185 for 4 in reply to Pakistan's 333.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg is at a low of 8 degrees, peaking at 23. Pretoria, 11 and 25. Vereniging, 8 and a high of 26. The top story in EWN this hour. Residents in Westbury are blaming police for a shooting that left 2 teenagers dead and 5 others critically injured.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Keeping an eye on developments in Westbury there, gang violence would seem to be at the center of this awful shooting. 2 teenagers left dead, others fighting for their lives. The boys were aged 13 to 19. You have a 13-year-old in your life. Imagine your 13-year-old involved in some shootout with kids his age. Just unbelievable. And a community crying for better policing. Talking of policing, how hard a time of it did Senzom Khune have when he appeared before MPs yesterday? Do you remember that moment at the end of last year's election when I said one of the exciting things is watch what happens in Parliament now when the executive is going to be held to account because the numbers will have changed? Listen to the minister yesterday being pressed on why he instructed his lawyers to visit CMAX prison to visit an inmate, asking that inmate to depose an affidavit.
But Minister, if you don't know Madlanga at all, you've never met him, that's your evidence?
That's my evidence.
Yes, so why would you want to obtain an affidavit from a person who has all these allegations against him and that's imprisoned at a high security prison? Why would our Minister of Police want to be associated with a person like that?
Well, he answered, didn't he, Senzom Khune? And he said that question poses another question. You have a listen.
The question or the answer to that question could be another question. Why would the minister not wish to get the word from such a person who people out there are trying so hard to associate with me when I'm not associated with him? Why would the public not be interested in getting to know what he has to say if it were all to be possible? I even want to say that I so wish that the Madlanga Commission or even the ad hoc committee could call him to come here to attest or to give testimony on his own whether he really knows me. So
there the minister is asked, hang on, you are now getting information from a guy, you're the police minister. You're getting an affidavit from a guy in CMAX prison whom you claim you don't know. He says, but why wouldn't I? People are associating me with this guy, and if he can at least say he doesn't know me, why shouldn't I get that letter from him? There was the other issue, of course, talking about people the minister knows or does not. The other matter, of course, was around the name Brown Mokgotsi and why he was associated with that character. Have a listen now to DAMP Glenys Breitenbach pressing Senzom Khune on that long-standing association with Brown Mokgotsi.
You said earlier today that you have the telephone number of Mr. Brown Mokgotsi on your telephone.
That I have the cell phone number, yes.
Why?
It's because I've known him from 2017 and I've been using that number.
Why have you known him since 2017? And what do you use the number for?
Why didn't I?
Why have you known him since 2017 and what do you use the number for?
No, we're just talking...
About what?
Look, let me explain Brown Mkhotsi, to me, there are more and more things that are coming out that I didn't know about Brown Mkhotsi. I knew him just like I got to know you. Nothing else. Just know you as a member of parliament. Then we go on. And then in the course of time, especially recently, I got to know things that I never got to know.
Yeah, ne? What was Mateo's game, Amo? Spy the lie. Spy the lie. Do you believe it? Do you believe Senzo Mchunu? Do you think his explanations are plausible? It really is just quite unbelievable. Then, and I'll leave it at this, the interministerial committee issue. The police minister was part of an interministerial cabinet committee that was looking at these political killings. So he wasn't alone in all of this. He's pressed on why that interministerial committee ended. And he says, no, it was part of the last administration, the 6th administration. Julius Malema wants to know from him, all right, was there a record of decision, an announcement by the president? Are there minutes that tell us this thing ended? Or is it that you just decided when you became police minister, there was no need to convene this and you just simply stopped it because, I don't know, that's what you felt like?
Minister, are you aware that there is a interministerial task team that was established in 2022, is still in place now on traditional leadership? And how many administrations have changed since then?
It would mean that it has featured in all the next administrations. But deliberately so, not taken for granted that it exists.
Yeah, but you can't show any minutes of cabinet that says in this administration that interministerial committee is dissolved. There is no such a thing. The president doesn't dissolve the interministerial committee. Cabinet doesn't, because if you say the 2022 interministerial task team is featuring in these different administrations, it means this one we're talking about of political killing task team did not fall into this new administration. But for it not to fall into this new administration, the cabinet would have had to resolve, or the president would have had to make that decision that this interministerial committee has come to an end.
You know what the poor man needs? He needs something that was invented on this day in 1797 by French inventor André Jacques Gagnerin, who made the first high-altitude parachute jump, leaping 3,200 feet above Paris from a hydrogen balloon and landing safely, and that was the start of modern parachuting.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN.
Short after 7, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Why are the delays in the Greenstone area, Amo?
Bongani, particularly because of an accident reported right near Van Riebeek Road. It's causing delays towards Modderfontein Road. And then there's faulty traffic lights at Modderfontein Road and the N3. And then we also have got those roadworks that are taking place throughout the N3 North, basically causing a stop-and-go situation between the Airlines interchange all the way towards the Baku interchange. So traveling around these areas this morning could be a bit problematic. Please do find alternative routes. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 92. Your dog locked you out of your house again. Quite a tall tale, if you know what I mean. Well, fortunately, the Outsurance pointsmen are on the roads, and you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen ease traffic congestion and get you there quickly and safely, and they've been doing so since 2005. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using hashtag pointsmanlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Flight Centre's Big Red Sale is back, 21 October to 14 November. Save up to 50% on tours across Europe, India and Morocco, up to 35% on cruises to the Med and Caribbean. Save big on Thailand stays, 55% off the Maldives and 50% off Mauritius. Plus, kids stay and eat free on selected family deals. Hurry, book now at flightcentre.co.za or your nearest Flight Centre store. T's and C's apply. Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Ready to sell your vehicle? We Buy Cars goes above and beyond to make it simple, quick and rewarding. Sell your car, bike, boat or bakkie for a great price with instant payment. Trading in or buying next? We'll explore over 12,000 vehicles, plus get flexible finance and cover options at webuycars.co.za or at any branch. We Buy Cars, the best way to sell or buy.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, F&B Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any F&B Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with F&B Premier. F&B, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. F&B, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
17 after 7, on to this now. We are not backing down. We need to implement our bylaws. We need to reclaim the city. The words there of the Johannesburg Mayor, Dada Morero, who's been driving a month-long Reclaiming the Inner City campaign. And the idea is to bring life to the historic CBD areas like De Villiers Street, once defined by chaos and congestion, are now cleaner, more organized, and we are told safer. But there are those who are saying, hang on a minute, you are targeting some of the hardest working, most innovative traders operating in Johannesburg. Is it really about clean pavements, or is it about creating jobs and opportunities for those who would otherwise not have them? And we've seen this movie before, where informal traders went all the way to the Constitutional Court to basically exercise their rights. So we've invited two guests who are perhaps on two sides of that debate. Firstly, let's welcome Dr. Sibongile Vilakazi, who is an academic, author, and organizational developer. A very good morning to you, and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Morning, Bongani. Thank you so much for the invitation. And morning to your listeners.
We've also got joining us Deborah Rabuda, who is a lead attorney at the Socio-Economic Rights Institute, SIRI, and they are essentially going to take the city of Johannesburg to court over the actions on at least as far as the informal traders are concerned. Dr. Sibongile, I'm going to let you have the first bite at this cherry. Firstly, what is your overall assessment of what the mayor is doing to reclaim the inner city? Is it the right thing to do?
Yes, I think the mayor is making significant progress and good momentum. Just observing from the reports that he keeps sharing wherever he goes, I think it's really good work that is being done. And it's the right thing to be done. Rules are rules, and rules must be observed. And unfortunately, sometimes chaotic environments create opportunity for others. And we recognize that, but the rules must be reinforced.
So the criticism will easily be, hang on, when did the mayor, or at least the city's administration, figure out that the rules were the rules? This kind of informal trading has been allowed to thrive in this way, the city made dirty and unsafe in this way for years. In fact, there are accusations that many officials and police officers have been taking bribes to allow this to happen as it has been, and now suddenly, because there's an election, the mayor cares?
Yeah, I think just because something has been allowed to happen in the wrong way doesn't mean that at some point when you decide to stop it, then suddenly you must be questioned. Why are you stopping it now? I don't think
we're not talking about a few months, though. We're not talking about a few months. I mean, this has been years. Some of those traders have been complaining. They've traded in those streets for 10, 12, 15 years. This isn't just some oversight the city had forgotten about.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. I mean, for as long as I've known Joburg, it's been like this. But that doesn't mean that it has been the correct way. I mean, when I took a drive there, for instance, I had to ask myself that, oh my God, I didn't even realize that all of these people all along, they've been violating bylaws because it's been normalized. Just chaos had been normalized. But at some point, someone has to put a stop to it. I don't know if you know, I'm sure you know about it, the broken window theory. It's a criminology theory, but it started in New York from a policeman who decided to just start fixing windows. And the theory says that when someone shows signs that they care, then the people on the ground start following suit. So simple things like clean up, fixing windows, removing graffiti from the walls, it starts signaling that change is here and change is coming. And I think we should enable and allow this campaign that is happening.
Look, there are all kinds of issues to debate there. Malcolm Gladwell was one of the first people to be exponents of that broken window policy or idea, has since debunked it, but that's perhaps a different debate for a different day. Let's just stay on the line. Joining us now is Deborah Rabuda, who is an attorney at SIRI. This is the Socio-Economic Rights Institute, and they're essentially taking the city of Johannesburg to court over this. They've done so before, and they're doing it again. Deborah, thank you for your time, and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Thank you for having me.
Why? Why go after the mayor for this? Surely this is a good thing. The inner city has been lost to many of the residents. It's been dirty, it's been unsafe, and these people are breaking the bylaws. What's wrong with the mayor's cleanup?
I think there's nothing wrong with the mayor's cleanup. I think everything that we've always emphasized, even in our correspondence with the mayor, is please can you give prior notice, and please can there be interim measures in place, and what do the timelines look like? And I think the narrative is that the informal traders, or our clients specifically, the South African Informal Traders Forum, CITEF, is being seen to resist the bylaw enforcement and the cleanliness. No. They've had to exist within what was happening, and they've always tried to comply with the laws as far as it has been possible.
But where they are and where they've been trading, you can agree, they've not been sticking to the bylaws. Have they not been breaking them?
My client specifically is CITEF. They've been trading there for over 30 years. So you'll know that in the early 2000s, when the city still had some sort of a grip in how trading was regulated in the area, their names were listed. They had permits. They were paying rent to the JPC. So they are, insofar as they could be.
Deborah,
local,
let's just be specific about what we mean. Yeah. The cleanup has been particular areas in the Joburg CBD, particularly the streets, where you and I both know those traders are not allowed to trade. Surely then you can't argue that you need to give them more time to figure out how they're going to ease their way out of breaking the law. That can't be your argument, surely.
Hence, I'm saying we should distinguish from traders who have then come because there's no regulations, and traders who have been trading there by allocated spots from the city. And so what I am saying is, with prior notice and information of what development plans the city has, they can then make interim measures. As it stands now, they don't know when they'll be able to trade, and they live hand to mouth. And so it's been 3 weeks, and it's just been said no more trading.
There is a need for a safe, clean, and functional CBD, and the city has argued that they want to regulate trading by these traders. They want to have designated areas where they can trade. And what's wrong with that?
There was no prior notice. There's no timeline as it stands as how long it will take.
But aren't there existing trading areas where these informal traders could go?
Sorry?
Are there no existing trading areas where the informal traders could go?
No. As it stands, they have not been able to trade at all for the past 3 weeks since this cleanup started.
All right, let's bring back Bongani Bingwa into this conversation. Do you buy that, what Deborah is saying, that the city didn't give enough warning to these traders and that they don't know where to go, and for the last 3 weeks they've been stuck not knowing what to do?
Yeah, I think we do need to be sensitive. As much as we want the cleanup to be successful, we want some of us who go there to shop, we want to be able to walk properly and shop nicely. But we also do need to be sensitive to the people who are making a living because the disorder has enabled it. So we do have to find a way to meet each other halfway. And I'm hoping that the mayor and the union or the forum that is representing the traders, they can have a conversation to find each other.
But don't you run the risk? don't you run the risk then of reversing this? Because if, as Deborah says, these traders were not given sufficient warning, they've not been given an alternative place where to go and trade, don't you run the risk of reversing what the mayor is doing entirely because it wasn't done in the correct way?
No, it's not to say that now things must stop because there are people who are being affected. Obviously, they cannot stop. And obviously, there are always casualties in some of these things. So the rules must be enforced and the plan must move forward, but there have to be discussions that are happening. And I'm actually sad to hear that there may have not been those prior discussions and warnings, and because we can't be insensitive. In this country, we've been here before. People were forcibly moved from their homes to places where they were displaced, and we know how that tends to end up.
Yeah.
So we have to be.
Spoken, there are others who will argue that's exactly what the city is doing. Deborah, I'll let you have the last word on this. As you'll both appreciate, I'm playing devil's advocate, trying to present both sides of the perspective. What happens now? The mayor says they're not backing down. They're going to continue. They're going to spread out to other areas. What happens next?
I think our commitment is just always, please tell us what's going on. And let's have these discussions. Let's know what the development plans are. Let us know what measures our clients can take, because I think if there was prior warning, if you knew for 2 weeks you won't be able to trade, you can make a plan. And now their income, they have no form of income and don't know when they can then engage or when they'll be able to trade again.
All right, let's leave it there. Both of you, thank you for your time. Dr. Sibongile Vilakazi, who is a governance transformation expert and academic and thought leader, and Deborah Rabuda, who is an attorney at SIRI, the Socio-Economic Rights Institute. Where are you on this one? The more, the merrier, more of the same, please, Mr. Mayor? Or do you think, hang on, even if you're going to do it this way, make sure you stick to the law so that your actions aren't reversed? Let's talk.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Where are the hotspots now, Amo?
Well, on the M1 North Bongani between Boysons and Empire Road, there's also queuing traffic along the N17 West. This is as we come out of the Carnival City entrance. This is due to road race that are taking place along this route. I'll have more details coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You could spend 10 minutes on social media or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on car insurance. For his 2024 GWMP series, 54-year-old Amos now pays only 1,004 Rand a month. And for his 2024 Toyota Urban Cruiser, 55-year-old Andre pays just 776 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
EWN.
Catch up with business news now with Mateo Juaripe. Let's get straight into it, Mateo.
We're looking at South 32's production in Australia. That was a bumper one for them. That saw the mining company up its shares 3% on the JSE. The Australian miner logging 135% jump in its first quarter manganese output, supported by recovery in its operations following the impacts of Tropical Cyclone Megan. The manganese division produced 854,000 wet metric tons. Its South African manganese operations were a little lower at 551,000.
You get a Coca-Cola. You get a Coca-Cola. You get a Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Okay, what's that story about?
Yeah, there's a lot of interest from a European bottling company. Coca-Cola Hellenic Bottling Company has agreed to buy a 75% stake in Coca-Cola Beverages Africa for 45 billion rand. The Switzerland-based bottling firm, formerly known as Coca-Cola Hellenic Bottling Company, is the world's third largest Coca-Cola anchor bottler in terms of volume, with sales of more than 2 billion unit cases. Coca-Cola HBC will acquire 75% of Coca-Cola Bottling Africa, with the Gutsa family retaining 5.5%.
Is it? Remember the old ad? Coca-Cola It is?
I don't remember
Is
that
it?
one.
Coke it is. Where's the rand?
17 Rand 38, clawing back some gains against the US dollar, 20 Rand 18 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 25 cents against the British pound. Price of gold clawing back some gains as well at $4,139 an ounce, while platinum is up more than 1% at $1,537. Brent crude at $62.27 a barrel. More business after 8.
And Swiso Zulu, as we said earlier, Parliament is rather busy at the moment.
That's right, Bongani. This time they're in Cape Town, and this is Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Basic Education, which is demanding urgent action from all relevant authorities investigating the bullying of pupils at Milnerton High School. A video circulating on social media shows a grade 10 pupil being physically and verbally attacked by a group of boys. The group allegedly includes players from the school's first team rugby squad. The Portfolio Committee's chairperson, Joy Maimela, says what happened was not merely bullying, but it borders on assault. Zulfa Khan has more.
The footage, which surfaced yesterday, has sparked national outrage. It shows a schoolboy being physically and verbally attacked by a group of fellow pupils, while others who are standing by can be heard cheering on the perpetrators. The incident reportedly occurred last week shortly after classes ended and involved learners allegedly including members of the school's first rugby squad. Basic Education Committee Chair Joy Maimela says the video is deeply concerning. She says the committee condemned this kind of behavior in the strongest possible terms and stressed that the incident borders on assault. Maimela called on the Western Cape Education Department to urgently intervene and report back to the committee, and reminded schools that the Department of Basic Education requires all public schools to implement and enforce comprehensive anti-bullying policies. Zulfa Khan, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
The former owner of the now defunct Sunshine Hospital in Johannesburg's East Rand has dismissed suggestions from MPs that it touted for road accident victims to keep its facility afloat. Kenneth Ford has told Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts that the 200-bed hospital catered for all patients who could pay their own medical bills, and that it derived no additional benefit from the road accident fund by treating patients transferred from state facilities. During an inquiry into maladministration at the fund, opposition parties yesterday questioned the average spend per patient treated at that hospital, which was forced to close down over 300 million rand owed to it by the RAF. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
Kenneth Ford says the Sunshine Hospital accepted transferred patients who had been in car accidents from over 130 state facilities upon request.
I can tell you that I didn't pay anybody. If I did, I'd be on the road all day with a sack of money.
He was questioned by the EFF's Veronica Mente as to whether his hospital had benefited from the incapacity of state facilities.
If the state had provided the money and the structures for those hospitals, they wouldn't have needed to send those patients anywhere. I agree with you 100%.
An emotional Ford said the hospital could not be saved due to the negative publicity it had received from the RAF, which alleged corrupt practices against the facility that have never been proven. The MK Party's Talente Kubeka has asked Ford to provide the committee with a detailed log of how many foreign nationals, both legal and not, were treated at the hospital at the expense of the RAF. The inquiry continues today. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
South Africans have 30 days to submit a report on the DA's proposed bill seeking to repeal the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act. The party's Public Procurement Amendment Bill was officially gazetted yesterday for public comment. Among its many proposals, it seeks to do away with race requirements for companies that want to do business with the state, replacing it with an outcome-driven system. The DA's head of policy, Matthew Cuthbert, says the gazetting of the bill represents the first steps of a process that will bring a new empowerment policy, ending decades of what the party deems as BEE failure.
BEE has turned ANC insiders into billionaires, while 44 million South Africans have been relegated to poverty and 12 million are trapped in unemployment queues. The DA will not allow this to stand any longer because we care deeply about the people of South Africa.
And 2 people have been killed by Russian strikes on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. Ukraine's energy minister says Russia targeted the country's energy infrastructure overnight in a massive attack. Ukrainian officials also reported large drone attacks in at least 3 other regions, including Zaporizhia, where authorities say several people were wounded and thousands left without power. The attacks come after US President Donald Trump, who has called on Moscow and Kyiv to stop the war at their current battle lines and shelved plans for a meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin in Budapest because he did not want a wasted meeting. A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 8 and 11 degrees, peaking at highs between 23 and 25.
And in the traffic, we've got peak time delays on most routes this morning. The Mark 1 North between Boysons Road and Empire Road, as well as on the M1 South between the Baklu Interchange and Marlborough Drive.
The top story this hour, MPs are demanding urgent action from all relevant authorities investigating the bullying of pupils at Milnerton High School in Cape Town.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
So you acknowledge that the apartheid system systematically locked out opportunities for black people because of their race, and yet you believe race is not a proxy for disadvantage? I mean, go and read even the World Bank report. It says race is the most important determinant of life in South Africa. Inequalities we have today are the results of the apartheid system. Apartheid was engineered based on race. There are millions of black South Africans who are still trapped in poverty, and they also deserve an opportunity to be active participants in this economy. And I don't see how this proposal by the Democratic Alliance advances that.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
The future of mobility is here, and it's powered by clean energy. Join business leaders, policymakers, and innovators at the NEV Summit 2025, taking place on 22 and 23 October. Together, we're driving Africa's green industrial revolution, building new industries, creating jobs, and positioning Gauteng as the hub of sustainable mobility. Visit evsummit2025.co.za to learn more. The NEV Summit 2025, driving Gauteng towards a green automotive economy.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702. 702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, and it's your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Mujalifa, who is in Guatemala. Mujalifa, please give us today's answer.
United States Marine.
U.S. Marines. U.S. Marines. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Mujalifa, 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance. U.S. Marines is the answer. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Hi, Bongani and the team. I really have a doozy of a question for your guests there, because similarly, the taxi operators have been creating pickup spots all over the city, and that had been normalized for commuter traffic to flow more easily. They are also in violation of bylaws, but they've been allowed to operate for the greater good. the traders operating should they not be given the same leeway, or is this now what's good for the goose is not good for the gander? Mo from Pretoria.
Bongani, there's always been trading in the CBD, but bylaws must be enforced. You can't have someone cutting hair here. Someone is selling food 2 meters away. Doesn't make sense, Bongani. There has to be control. And the reason most big businesses like you guys, Prime Media, all these big businesses that they ran away from the CBD, it was because there's no longer control. Now, the city, rightfully so, want to enforce bylaws. The city is being taken to court. How can you take a city, Bongani, to court for enforcing the bylaws which are there?
Bongani, there are designated areas for the traders to go and sell in. They don't want those designated areas because they don't want to pay their rent. They want everything to be for free. Please, please. We've been crying that the CBD is deteriorating, and then the next thing, the mayor is doing something about it, and then people are having a problem with that. Kanti, what do we want? What do we want, Kanti? Hi.
Is it a cleanup or is it a war on poverty? Is it a cleanup or is it a war on those who are doing their best to eke out a living in an economy that won't accommodate them? Because the other thing that you have to remember, how does the market work? Supply and demand. Somebody is buying their wares. Somebody is buying these products, whatever it is that is being sold. So, where are you on this debate?
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, welcome.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
Yes, that's what I meant.
I will take your welcome because it could have been the contrary, which is like, oh, there's Cindy.
No, but it's also in my head as soon as I said it, I thought that's a strange thing to say. Cindy's part of the furniture. Okay.
Welcome back.
You can welcome her. That's
Right.
fine. What I really meant to say was that the goals in the Champions League yesterday were quite welcome.
Absolutely, and amazing. 43 goals last night, 5 red cards, 6 penalties. What an action-packed night in the Champions League. Lopez scored a hat-trick in Barcelona's 6-1 win over Olympiacos. Rashford scored 2. Eindhoven thrashed Napoli 6-2. Defending champions PSG still unbeaten. They thrashed Leverkusen 7-2. Inter Milan with a 4-0 win over Union. Dortmund beat Copenhagen 4-2. Manchester City away got a 2-0 win over Villarreal. Newcastle with a 3-0 win over Benfica, and Arsenal found their form in the second half, scoring 4 goals within 13 minutes to beat Atletico Madrid 4-0. Jacare scored 2.
Yeah, of course, felt great. I think we played great throughout the game, and to get 2 first goals in the Champions League for Arsenal was amazing.
SAF has failed to finalise Banyana coach Desiree Ellis' contract in time for the start of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. The team's in Kinshasa to play DRC this afternoon. Ellis has been on a month-to-month contract since the Olympics. Locally, there's 3 games in the Betway Premiership tonight. Pirates are hosting Polokwane, Chiefs entertain Siwalele, and second from bottom Stellenbosch are playing Golden Arrows. The Proteas women top the Cricket World Cup table after beating Pakistan by 150 runs, the Duckworth-Lewis method. South Africa posted 312 for 9, their highest total at a World Cup. Wolfart with 90, Liss with 61, and player of the match Marzan Cup unbeaten on 68, and she took 3 wickets.
Yeah, look, we were very disappointed with that performance against England. We felt like leading up to this World Cup, our preparation has been very good. Luckily, we turned it around very quickly. And again, I think that's the hard work that we've been putting in behind the scenes. And again, I think that's the beauty of this team, where we've not been relying on one person, and more people are starting to click and putting in performances.
Proteas have to play Australia in their last group game. Australia and England are the only 2 unbeaten sides at the World Cup. They go head-to-head today. The Aussies without captain Alyssa Healy, who has a calf injury. And live test cricket, look away. The Proteas men, 208 for 6 in reply to Pakistan's 333. They lost Stubbs now recently for 76. And in the first over of the day, they lost Verena for 10. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra celebrates its 25th anniversary with its Spring Symphony season, opening with the annual joint performance by the Johannesburg and KZN Philharmonic Orchestras. The season runs from 30 October until 20 November, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. Tickets available on Quicket.
KwaZulu-Natal is South Africa's fastest growing business tourism hub, and the numbers prove it. Since 2020, business events have injected 1.8 billion rand into the province. MICE, M-I-C-E, so that's meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions, Amo. All of that driving inclusive growth, reaching even rural and township communities with strong public-private partnerships. Africa's Travel Indaba secured through to 2030, and the Durban ICC is now a World Trade Center. KZN is building momentum, hey? It's not just hosting events, it's where Africa meets to do business.
Time. When you're a kid, it moves slower than a sloth trying to get through airport security. There is just so much of it. Skip forward a few years to your 20s. Time is still your friend. It says have some balance. Go party and have fun. Then your 30s hit. And time suddenly steps on the accelerator like it's trying to catch a traffic light before it goes red. 40s. Now time is moving faster than your 10-year-old on a sugar high. 50. You're desperately trying to save as much as you can, but time is moving so fast. And all you can think is, where did all the time go? That's why after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time for some much-deserved you time. Now, isn't that a compelling enough reason to invest? Ellen Gray. Long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
EWN Traffic.
13 minutes before 8 o'clock, this EWN Traffic brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. Peak time delays everywhere. Yay!
That's correct, Bongani. This is along the Marquand North between Boysons Road and Empire Road. There's also peak time pressure along the N1 South leaving the city of Tshwane towards Olifantsfontein Road. While traveling in Westdean, I saw an accident reported on Perth Road right near Harmony Street causing delays. Please be on the lookout there. While that one in Greenstone is still there along Van Riebeck Road right near Modderfontein Road, causing those long queues this morning. And then we've got those roadworks along the N3 North right near the Baklu interchange causing delays coming out of Mountborough Drive. About a 30-minute hold up there. Please, if you're heading towards the city of Tshwane or even Midrand, try to use the R21 North. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seats, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more.
Opel Grandland 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question? If the answer is U.S. Marines, let's go to Tracy in Edenvale. Tracy, what's the question?
What branch of the military did Shaggy serve in?
Before he became a huge international raga star with hits like Mr. Bombastic, Oh Carolina,
Yes.
Strength of a Woman, Love Me, Love Me, Love Me, Love Me, Tracy. Do you love me?
Yes, I do love
I'm sure you do. How about 2,000 Rand in cash coming your way? All thanks to Outsurance and 702. Fantastic. Tracy, of course, getting it right. It is the birthday of one Shaggy.
Fantastic. Touch me on me box, she says I'm Mr. Romantic. Fantastic, touch me on me box, she says I'm Mr. Smooth, just like a silk. Soft and cuddly, hug me up like a quilt. I'm a lyrical lover, now take me thin or filled with my sexual physique. You know me well, Bill.
You're my angel, you're my darling angel. Closer than my peeps, you are to me, baby. Shorty, you're my my darling angel. Girl, you're my friend when I'm in need, lady.
Life is one big party when you're still young, but who's gonna have your back when it's all done? when you live for your beer fun. Can't be a fool, son. What about the long run? Looking back, shorty, always a mention. Say me not giving her much attention. She was there through my incarceration. I wanna show the nation my appreciation.
Girl, you're my angel. You're my darling angel. Closer than my peeps, you are to me, baby. Shorty, you're my angel. You're my darling.
Alright, honey came in and she got me red-handed, creepy with the girl next door. Picture this, we were both butt naked, banging on the bathroom floor. How could I forget that I had given her an extra key? All this time she was standing there, she never took her eyes off me.
Oh, you think the woman access to your villa? Just for son of weakness, all of your clean on your pillar. You better watch your back before she turn into a killer. Just review the situation that you caught up in her. To be a true player, you have to know how to play. If she say a night, convince her say a day. Never admit to a word where she say. And if she claim her, you tell her, baby, no way.
But she caught me on the counter.
Wasn't me.
Saw me banging on the sofa.
Wasn't me.
I even had her in the shower.
Wasn't me.
She even caught me on camera.
Wasn't me.
She saw the marks on my shoulder.
Wasn't me.
Heard the words that I told her.
You could spend 10 minutes trying to fix the office printer, or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 65-year-old Helena, who now pays an incredibly low 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Extra. With Outsurance, you get the legendary Out Bonus that pays you a percentage of your premiums back if you're claim-free. SMS out to 45142. After switching, 48-year-old Felicity now pays only 836 Rand a month for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson. Outsurance will either save you money on your car insurance or give you cash. If Outsurance can't beat what you're currently paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
The South African Future Trust Summit returns on 5 and 6 November at the Sandton Convention Centre in partnership with Standard Bank and 702. Expect higher stakes, bolder ideas and bigger names. Hear from Grace Andrews, creator entrepreneur, former brand director for Stephen Bartlett and the Diary of a CEO. Experience the Big Pitch finals where South Africa's brightest startups compete live for $1 million in funding. Get your tickets at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental dispute, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong. We're putting customers first. We're gonna drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's gonna be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision people are saying ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
702
702. What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Time now for the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Belle.
Things you see in traffic.
Yeah, I mean, this video, if you've seen it, when I first saw it, I thought, it cannot be real. But apparently it is. So a woman and a passenger were driving behind a bakkie and a trailer, which is 2.5 meters high on either side. And you're driving, you can imagine you enjoying your trip, maybe having a chat about wherever you're going or things you need to do. And the next minute in front of you, you see this massive male line appear from within this trailer, stands on top of the trailer. Then the bakkie pulls over to the side and the line springs off the top of this trailer onto the road and then casually just strolls around. I mean, absolutely bizarre, right? You would who would have thought that would happen along your route to wherever you're going in the middle of nowhere? So what happened was this line had been purchased from a farm in the Free State, and it was en route to the Northwest Province. And this is what happened. So they had to call the authorities. A vet came out, and when he got there, this line was just chilling under a tree. Thankfully, it had still some of the sedation that it was given prior to its trip. So it was a little bit zonked and just chilling out there. And then he redarted it and it fell asleep. And then, they took it to where it needed to go. So really, really strange. I mean, if you look at that video and you see how this lion jumps and then kind of stumbles, for me, that spring or the way it jumped and landed just looked very strange. But yeah, it happened, and it's been confirmed by the authorities from the province, all that kind of thing.
I also tweeted it yesterday. I retweeted it when I first saw it a couple of days ago, and there were a couple of people who said, "Oh, this is all AI." But I've seen people like Yusuf Abramji tweet it, and as you say, it's been confirmed. And by the way, the lion has been found and secured safely. But I suppose the question then, Kabazela, to ask is, what is the most bizarre thing you have witnessed in traffic or whilst even driving behind another vehicle? You're in traffic, even right now, as you're getting towards work. Are there any weird things that you can say, bearing in mind this is a family show? If you're in a 4x4, you might have seen things perhaps we don't want to hear in a family show, if you know what I mean. And then very quickly, Kabazela, just paint it.
Yeah, I love this video, I must say. So some women are blessed with a pinky toe where they have a full toenail, and other women maybe have a little like a grain of rice on that toe. And I've met many women in my life, from family members to partners, who have had various different kinds of pinky toes. The question is to those ladies, do you paint it or not paint it if you go for a pedicure? Let's take a listen to this guy's advice for those who have a little tiny nail on their pinky.
Ladies, you got that pinky toe with that little piece of rice as a toenail? Paint that thing.
Piece of
Paint
rice.
it. Get you a fine pointed brush. Boop. Paint it. It's yours.
Until this day, Kabazela, I have never thought about the size of my pinky toenail on my feet. Is that really a thing? Let's hear from the ladies. And what do you do with your little piece of rice? That's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
702.
702.
Feedback with Baphelile Sambo.
Baphelile Sambo, do you come here with a piece of rice?
I love my piece of rice. I take care of it like I take care of the rest of the toes. Like it's the same treatment. Yeah. Like I file it. I like the same treatment for all my pinky toes. All my toes, they get the same treatment.
All right, enough about that. What else do you have to say?
Bongani, lots of feedback coming, especially on the Joburg City cleanup campaign. 702 lenders are backing the mayor's cleanup mission. They say the mess has gone way too long. Some are even fed up with illegal traders taking over pavements where people are supposed to walk. But others have spotted a little bit of tiny improvement since the campaign started. So maybe it is working.
Look, as I said, I drove through parts of Hillbrow and Berea just 2 days ago, and I was very deliberate in choosing to drive through those areas. I went on Claim Street, which is mostly now used by taxis. So I went past the old post office in Hillbrow near the Telkom Tower. Yeah. I went past Bruce Street supermarket, and I just went all the way up the hill to the top where High Point is, and it just looks like a war zone. It looks like a slum. It's dirty, it's murky, it's dilapidated. And if you drive, as soon as you're out of that area, driving through Braamfontein, there's a huge difference. And there are many people who will say more of the same, Mr. Mayor, but we also have concerns about maybe not so much a cleanup, but an easy win that's really about attacking informal traders and maybe a war on poverty. Because what happens after next year's election, won't those traders go back and the mayor will look on the other side or look the other way? Let's continue to debate it.
This is EWN.
Police say they know the gunman who ambushed young people in the west of Johannesburg, and Senzo Mchunu dilly-dallies about his relationship with Ket Matlala. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. As police continue with an investigation into the shooting of 7 teenagers in Westbury, National Police Commissioner Fani Masimula is heading to the area this morning. 4 gunmen approached the youngsters at a house yesterday and opened fire in what is believed to be a gang-related violence. 2 teenagers died and 5 others are being treated in hospital. Police have assured the public that the suspects have been identified and will be arrested soon. Masimula says Westbury is one of the regions where police specialized units investigating gangs have been deployed.
We will continue to reinforce the capacity in terms of more boots on the ground in these specific areas. It's unfortunate that it has happened that several times that police were attacked by the very same community which they serve. In all incidents, police were attacked while effecting arrest of suspects that were found in possession of drugs and some illegal firearms.
But residents are blaming the shooting to a lack of police presence. Thandoluhle Ngcobo reports.
While police say they are on the hunt for the 4 suspects involved in the shooting, seething community members say that it's just a lip service.
Like I told him, I can go with him to the places. All 4 places that we know. They're still taking long. I'm waiting for him.
Preliminary investigations suggest 4 teenagers approached the 7 victims who were sitting and smoking inside a house on Cruiser Street yesterday. Police say 3 of the suspects were carrying guns and opened fire before walking away. One of the 5 injured boys has been transferred to another hospital due to the severity of his injuries. Thandoluhle Ngcobo, Eyewitness News.
Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has told MPs that there's no evidence linking him to any criminal activity. The embattled minister has also denied having any connections to attempted murder accused Vusmuzi Ket Matlala. Mchunu was back in Parliament yesterday to answer questions from MPs before the ad hoc committee investigating allegations of police corruption and interference. Babalondenza reports.
Senzo Mchunu appeared for a 3rd day to face more questions about his decision to disband the political killings task team. Mchunu was also grilled about questionable links to individuals implicated in alleged corrupt activity like Vusimuzi Ket Matlala. The minister told the inquiry that he never laid eyes on Matlala and only got to know of his name last December. He also says there's no proof that he's committed any crime.
Nobody out there has any confirmation of anything between me and Matlala. Absolutely nothing. People must remain behind and investigate anything linked, but they still do it on national television without a piece of evidence.
Mchunu will return to Parliament today for a 4th day of questioning before former Minister Bheki Cele takes the hot seat tomorrow and Friday. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
In Pretoria, the investigating officer in the murder case of Vereniging Engineer Armand Swart is the next witness set to testify before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Witness B will begin the testimony this morning following 2 days of testimony by his colleague. The witnesses, including the one set to testify after Witness B, are being heard partially in a closed session with their voices being broadcast only live, but their faces are concealed. Yesterday, Witness A, a detective of Gauteng organised crime, concluded his testimony. Oren Singh reports.
Witness A concluded his testimony yesterday afternoon with a heartfelt message to South Africans.
If change does not happen, and if it doesn't happen soon, we are doomed as a nation. I hope that my evidence before this commission, in the face of real and present danger to my life, will contribute to a change police service, or at the very least, the beginning of a positive change to the police service and the country as a whole.
During his 2-day testimony, Witness A highlighted some of the pushback the investigating team in the Armand Swart murder case faced, as one of the accused, Michael Puletau, was a cop, and the other, Katiso Katie Molefe, a businessman, with alleged links to senior police officials. Oren Singh, Eyewitness News.
Lawyers for the woman accused or accusing Eastern Cape Judge President Sabin Beneng of sexual harassment have argued that she's not a perfect victim, but they insist her version of events should be believed. Arguments in this case were made yesterday and the verdict has been reserved. Andiswa Mengo's lawyers have argued that the alleged advances made by Beneng were unwanted, but she gave in when he persisted. They also argued that the alleged badgering of Beneng constitutes sexual harassment. Mengo's lawyer, advocate Nasreen Rajab Batlinder.
And she said, I asked her specifically, why did you engage in sexual banter with him? Why did you respond to his sexual questions? And she said she didn't know what else to do. Nothing that she had tried had worked. And she thought maybe if she engages with him, he'll leave her alone.
And International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says he's optimistic South Africa will get a one-year extension on AGOA when the US government reopens for business. The 2025 government shutdown extended into day 21 yesterday and it continues with no end in sight today. The shutdown comes amid a fight in the Senate over federal funding priorities. In addition to the impact in the US, the stalemate has also stalled South Africa's bid to renew the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which lapsed last month. AGOA, which was established in 2000, exempts eligible African countries from taxes on their exports to the US. Speaking at the Financial Times Africa Summit in London yesterday, Lamola told delegates that he's optimistic the region will get a reprieve when the US government shutdown ends.
It remains a very strategic platform of our trade with the US, but not only with the US, with some of the countries in the sub-Saharan African continent.
Gold is trading at $4,125.17 an ounce. The rand is at 17.39 to the dollar, 23.26 to the pound, 20.19 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.31 a barrel.
And in the traffic in the city of Tshwane, we've got an accident reported on the N1 South. It's right near the Flying Saucer interchange. It is causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic in Kelvin along the N3 North due to those long-term roadworks taking place right near the Baklu interchange.
And in your sport, the Proteas men lose 3 wickets in the first hour of play. A short while ago, they 218 for 7 in reply to Pakistan's 333. Proteas women top the World Cup table after thrashing Pakistan. Banyana without coach Desiree Ellis for this afternoon's WAFCON qualifier in the DRC. And Soweto comes alive tonight with both Pirates and Chiefs hosting later.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 23 and 25 degrees. The top story in EW in this hour as police continue with an investigation into the shooting of 7 teenagers in Westbury. National Commissioner Fani Masimula is heading to the area this morning.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock, you're listening to 702 Breakfast. My name indeed is Bongani Bingwa. I'm not alone, of course. As always, an entire team of colleagues with us. Cindy Paluta bringing you your sport. You've just heard Sfiso Zulu with the latest eyewitness news. Amo Ramila is here for traffic and so much more. Mateo Haripe is, of course, our business expert. We've got producers Bapelile, Ropfiwa and KG behind the scenes. Karabo doing all that needs to be done for social media. We've raised a number of issues. It's your turn to talk. The Johannesburg CBD cleanup. Yay or nay? If the city is arguing that these are bylaws that are being broken, when did they wake up to that fact? When did they wake up to that reality? Pavements, streets, entire neighborhoods. There were even taxi ranks that were overrun by these informal traders. Did they not know all along? Or is this about electioneering ahead of next year's local government elections? You may say it doesn't matter, as long as the city is clean. Why don't we have Jozi back to its former glory? Have these designated areas where informal traders may sell their wares? But for goodness sake, can we have our pavements back? Can we have our streets back? Can we feel safe? Is that your argument? Let's talk.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Taking your calls on 011 883 0702. Kamazela also wants to know, what's the weirdest thing you've seen in traffic driving behind someone else? And ladies, that little pinky toe that looks like a grain of rice, do you paint it, Amo?
Of course I do. Mine is not as small as a rice grain, but I do paint it. But Bongani, I've seen a bus, right, in traffic with the window pane broken, actually out. It was not even broken, it was out, right?
And there were people at the back.
And there were people inside the bus right next to that very window that was not there.
Gosh. Let's talk to John in Randburg. You want to weigh in on the informal traders and the bylaws. Good morning, John.
Hi, Bongs. I hope you guys are well.
We are indeed. Go ahead. Yeah.
Quick
we love
story
stories.
time.
We love stories, John.
2013, the city of Johannesburg pulls informal traders off the street without notice. They were off the street for 3 weeks. They had to approach the Constitutional Court for direct access to be allowed back on the street. Since 2013 to now, why has there not been an informal structure in place to say these are the designated areas where you can trade? Every day you have to buy your permit from a warden or whatever the case is. So you're creating a job for a warden, you're creating a clean area, you're creating revenue where things can be clean, people can be fined. You're creating a formal structure within that informal sector. It's 2025, guys. Why are we still having this argument? Why are we still having this conversation? And why is this still happening under an ANC government? It really makes my blood boil, Bongs. I don't say. I really believe that the ANC has been in a war against the poor since 1994, honestly, because they seem to repeat the same things over and over and over again. So revolution is around the corner. You've heard what the president says, eat cake. That, if you're not a student of politics or history, and what are you doing being president?
Look, anyway. I mean, we talk about inclusive growth, right? I mean, that's one of the phrases of the ANC. And as exactly as you point out, they've had all this time to make it clear where the designated areas would be, to make sure that there are these blocks or areas where people can get permits and trade and stay within the bylaws, because what the real risk, of course, is that when Siri goes to court, we'll be back to where we were in 2013 if no alternatives have been placed on the table. John, I appreciate that call. Keep them coming on 011 883 0702.
Good morning, Bongani, and good morning to your 702 lenders. Look, Bongani, I fully support what the mayor is doing. It's long overdue. This should have been done long time ago. There's always been a back and forth with Siri and COJ going to courts and all that. But at some point, this has to stop. There is no way that traders can just block the street, a whole street, block the street and trade there. It doesn't make sense. We have to reclaim the city. The CBD is filthy. The CBD is not safe. So somewhere, somehow, something has to give. So on this one, I fully support the mayor. I don't know if it's electioneering or what, but for as long as the city is going to be safe and clean, they've got my 100% support. Thank you.
Good morning, Bongani. We welcome what the mayor is doing, cleaning up Johannesburg. It's long overdue. And when I was growing up, the traders had a specific place where they used to trade. Why can it not go back to the way it used to be? It doesn't make sense.
Hey, good morning, Bongos and team. Good morning. You know, 2 weeks ago, I went to Joburg for the first time in a long time because I needed to go with someone from the Eastern Cape to get a few things. It was awesome. The streets were empty. People were selling in designated areas. The people who are selling the clothes, they on the sites, they were inside shops, sharing space and selling. They must continue like this. There was actually metro. Of course, I had all my things hidden away because I didn't trust anything going on there. But it was awesome. There was actually space to walk on the pavements. So whatever they're doing, they must keep it up. People, yes, they must sell, make a living, but do it in the designated areas. Thank you.
Wasn't that what Small Street Mall was meant to do? Do you remember when you could walk through Small Street Mall? Remember when you could walk in town? I've been to cities around the world where you can be on your phone and not worry about who's going to snatch it and get away. Would you be on your phone downtown Joburg, Mateo? Tall, burly man, you
No,
are?
I wouldn't do that. It's not wise to do so. There's a book called The Chaos Precinct that looks at Von Brandes, Pritchard, all those streets, the amount of trade that's happening there. That book is making the assertion that Johannesburg is really a dry port city. There's already trade going on. I think what the city can do then is just latch on to say, okay, guys, register, hollow out all those buildings that aren't being used, make it a business precinct, zone it, and make it a viable trading business and just clean up the streets. I think there's nothing wrong with doing that.
The cynic in us wants to go, with an election around the corner, I wonder why they suddenly care. Kitumetse, you want to talk about your pinky toe. How little is it?
Morning, Bongani. It is my biggest insecurity.
Really?
I always have my toes. Yes, I always have my toes done, but I always make sure I wear shoes that cover my pinky toenail because I cannot. Nothing sticks. It will be gel. I stopped using nail polish, so it's always gel, but it never sticks. It is always off within a few hours.
Does it at least have a nail? Kitumetse.
It's literally like a grain of rice. It's always a mission to even cut it.
Shame, poor thing. Kitumetse, thank you for that fun call. Kabazela wants to know, ladies, what do you do with that small little pinky toe? Do you paint it when you do your nails? I don't think it's a guy thing very much, Muteo. Like I said to Kabazela, I was 2 years old when I thought about my pinky toe for the first time. Hey? Do you know what yours
way? In
looks
terms
like?
of painting it?
No. Go away. Let's talk to Steve in Alberton. Steve, you sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you think Mateo says smart things. Steve is gone. Steve phoned in and he wanted to agree with what you were saying there, but he seems to have gone away. Keep him coming. 011 883 0702.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Good morning, Bongos and 702 Lenders, liars. So I said in interviews, and you see someone lie through their teeth while you are looking at their body language, their face tells it all. You actually ask them a same question differently, and you hear a different answer from the previous answer. My goodness, it is not difficult to see when someone is lying. And if you have been doing it for a while, it's very simple. So that guy really is lying, guys. Liars in those leadership positions. It's hectic. Thanks, guys, for a great show. Shadi, Kempton Park.
Shadi, Kempton Park, we're playing Spy the Lie. And I was asking the question, do you believe what you are hearing from the suspended police minister? All right, we've got Steve back on the line. You want to support Mateo, you say? Sometimes he says things that make sense, ne? Sometimes.
Yeah, human beings are human beings. Bongani, a friend of mine from Northwest actually has told me that, you know what, there are two types of human beings. One of them, if you want to make them happy, create chaos. The other one, if you want them to make happy, create order. Bongani, I'll end there.
Short and sharp. Steve, appreciate that call.
EWN traffic.
All right, let's check on the roads. 19 after 8. What are you seeing, Amo?
Bongani, we've got an accident in the city of Tshwane, Erasmus Cliff. It's right near the Flying Saucer interchange. Delays coming out of Rigel Avenue. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North. So this is as you leave the Brockfontein interchange towards John Foster Drive. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N3 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. Roadworks are causing these delays. And there's an accident reported in Bramley Park along Grayston or Andrews Street right near the Mark 1 exit. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. If you want to avoid this one, use Marlborough Drive through towards Catherine Street. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with Bongani Bingwa on 702.
Taking your calls on 011-883-0702.
Leslie, you're in Johannesburg. You want to talk about this issue with informal traders. Good morning.
Good morning, Bongani. How are you?
I'm very well, Leslie. Go ahead.
Bongani, I'm a bit concerned, and I don't think with us as South Africans we actually know what we want. There have been a lot of complaints about the state of Joburg. Even the president traveled there at some point, and he seemed to be very surprised. I know the ANC is not genuine right now with their intentions. This could be an electioneering tactics. But really, we really need to do something about the state of Joburg. We can't let it deteriorate while we look at it. That is my input.
Yeah.
I would love to actually concur with the previous caller to say, look, let these people have a designated area where they can actually go and be given cards or numbers that say, these are your business tonsils or point, but let Joburg be back. I don't know if you have traveled to Cape Town and see how the state of Cape Town is compared to Joburg. I'm a Joburg resident, and I want Joburg restored.
No, I hear you, Leslie. I've said the same thing many a time. Leslie's saying, listen, it doesn't matter what the motives of this mayor might be. If you get it started, we're on to something. The other difficulty, though, is that when you've had designated areas, there are all sorts of difficulties in getting into those because there are people who control them and they are territorial about it. Notwithstanding what you may need to pay the city to have a stall registered in some of those areas, but you have to then deal with local little mafia bosses who run those trading zones as their own. And sometimes they're even designated according to nationalities. We know the Zimbabweans trade over there, the Malawians trade over. It becomes quite a mess. Jabu, you're in Fourways. You want to talk about what's happening in Parliament?
Yes, morning. I just wanted to talk about Malema's hypocrisy. Yesterday, he accused Minister Mkono of getting an affidavit from someone that is in maximum prison, and he said the morality of it doesn't make sense. But, Malema is seated there before parliamentarians as a convicted criminal that is awaiting sentencing. And the hypocrisy of it, not long, Malema, we've got Mazoti, the one that used to sell cigarettes and whatever, and illegal cigarettes. The guy confessed and he confirmed that he was busy. He funded Malema for a long period of time. But for me, the issue is that Malema is a convict that is awaiting sentencing.
Well, Jabu, hold on. I hold no brief for Julius Malema, but I don't think that is fair because, of course, we know what would disqualify him from being a member of parliament, even if he is convicted. That isn't an automatic exclusion from being an MP. It will depend on what sentence he gets. It will also depend on whether or not his matter will be heard on appeal. So I don't think that's a foregone conclusion. And yes, he's got an association with some questionable people, but the name you mentioned is not somebody who is behind bars, nor has Julius been charged with anything wrong as far as that is concerned. So I think just be careful of throwing mud in that sense.
If this ad caught your ear, imagine what Prime Media can do for your business. With SA's leading media company, your message reaches the right audience across radio, digital audio, video, and display. The Prime Impact Sales Event is coming to Joburg, 3 to 7 November, and Cape Town, 10 to 13 November. Register today for a free demo commercial, a custom campaign, and unbeatable annual partnerships. Seats are limited. Secure yours now at primeimpact.co.za.
OUTsurance Business Insurance is not just insurance. It's emergency help when you need it most. Switch today and enjoy services like Help at Out with 24/7 access to panic assistance, roadside assistance, and even office assistance for catering companies, boutique hotels, guest houses, tour operators, and other industries. OUTsurance Business Insurance are trusted experts in insuring your business. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up now with news from elsewhere in the world. We saw them, of course, in Alaska not too long ago, but will there be a Trump-Putin summit soon, Adam?
Well, the short answer is probably not. Is that a short answer? No, that's a longer answer, really. No, how's that? Donald Trump says he doesn't want a wasted meeting. They did have a plan for face-to-face talks. You're right, they met in Alaska in August. That was rather hastily organized and put together, and suddenly it was away. Here we go. There could be something come out of it. Frankly, absolutely nothing came out of it. There was a bit of posturing by both. Here we go again. This time, it was only about a week ago, or maybe even less than that, that Donald Trump was talking about how he would meet Vladimir Putin in Budapest within 2 weeks. There was also a thought that Volodymyr Zelensky might join them in Budapest, in Hungary, for this meeting, and therefore we could actually get somewhere with a three-way agreement on where we are. Basically, Ukraine has come round to a European proposal, which now is being trumpeted by Donald Trump, that they should just stop where they are and draw the lines where they are. Russia doesn't want to do that. Vladimir Putin clearly wants to have more of Ukraine for himself, or for Russia's self. So I'm afraid the summit has gone away and we're getting nowhere fast.
Yes, indeed. And of course, the latest reports are coming out of that recent meeting between Zelensky and Trump, where Trump didn't even know some of those areas on the Ukrainian map, nor, he didn't seem to care about it very much either. Toxic alcohol, Adam? What am I missing?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. This is when instead of ethanol in your booze, it's methanol. Methanol is extremely dangerous / deadly, and there have been a number of deaths from this around the world. In fact, I did try to tot up how many deaths there have been, but it runs into thousands over the past few years. I mean, it's almost too many to count in each individual nation. And so the Foreign Office in the UK, although albeit it's a list that others can absolutely latch onto, has now listed those countries they think are most at risk of methanol poisoning, where your alcoholic drinks could be effectively spiked, not necessarily on purpose, but through a lack of safety or quality control, or for economic reasons, it can be cheaper. So along with Cambodia, Indonesia, Turkey, Costa Rica, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, and Fiji, now there are 8 more countries on that list of watch out if you're going: Ecuador, Kenya, Japan, Mexico, Nigeria, Peru, Uganda, and Russia. And because meth is so dangerous, this is not to be taken lightly, I think, is their point.
That's quite a mix of countries that you ought to worry about, Adam.
Isn't it?
Donald Trump, didn't he promise he wouldn't touch the White House even with his expansion plans yet?
He did, absolutely. You're right. He said about his expansion plans, this is for a $250 million ballroom in the East Wing of the White House, the newer bit of the White House. It's only about 100 years old, whereas the rest of it's about 200 years old. He said, it will be beautiful. It won't interfere with the current building. It will be near it, but not touching it. Well, construction has begun on the ballroom, and guess what? The East Wing has now got a great big hole in it. You can see missing masonry and rubble sticking out and wires and everything else. Demolition has absolutely begun of at least part of the East Wing. But interestingly, not surprisingly, the improvement project for the White House has no approval from the federal agency that oversees improvement projects. So, yeah, it's very much off the cuff with Donald Trump, but isn't it often?
Indeed. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
All right, let's catch up with business news. Our final business update for the morning, Mateo Horipe. Let us start with the Foschini Group. Their shares tumbling a little. Consumer demand dropping there.
Yeah, Foschini Group shares plummeted 18% in early trade yesterday after the fashion retailer warned of a decline in earnings for the 6 months ending in September. The stock hit its lowest level since May of 2023, wiping 8 billion rand of its market value. The retailer's group sales grew just 12.7%, but when you take away sales in the UK unit, its organic growth was just 3.5%. The drop in earnings is due to weaker consumer demand, stubborn inflation, and a tough trading environment. There was a good story to tell with its online business, though. They jumped online sales jumped 55%, now making up nearly 15% of retail sales at the Foschini Group, with the South African Bash platform up 40%. The retailer is facing stiff competition from Chinese online fast fashion giants Temu and Shein.
South Africa's 32's production. What am I saying there?
South 32.
South 32.
A minor, yes.
What did I say? South Africa's 32s.
Yeah, you want to take ownership of an
Hey.
Australian miner. You're going to drop shares on the market.
Tell you what, I'll let you say it.
South 32 shares were up 3% on the JSE after reporting bumper manganese output. The Australian miner logged a 135% jump in its first quarter manganese output, supported by recovery in its operations following the impacts of a tropical cyclone called Megan. The diversified miner said it had successfully executed the operational recovery plan. The manganese division produced 854,000 wet metric tons during the first quarter. In its South African unit, manganese operations produced 551,000 wet metric tons in the first quarter, lower than the prior year's production.
Your indicators?
The rand at 17 rand 38 against the US dollar, looking good this morning at 20 rand 16 cents against the euro and 23 rand 20 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $4,134 an ounce, while platinum is up 1.5% at $1,540. Brent crude up 1% at $62.27 a barrel. That's your morning business. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu, what do you have at this hour?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. We start with an update from Cape Town, where precautionary suspension letters have been issued to 8 Milnerton High School pupils allegedly involved in the assault of a fellow pupil. A video of a group of pupils assaulting another boy at the school has gone viral on social media, sparking public outrage. The group allegedly includes players of the school's first team rugby squad. Western Cape Education Department spokesperson Brona Hammond.
Following the immediate and initial investigation by the school governing body, they have met and have issued precautionary suspension letters to 8 learners. They will now face a disciplinary hearing. The school is treating this with the seriousness it deserves and have acted upon the allegations and the video that has emerged.
Meanwhile, Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Basic Education's chairperson Joy Maimela says what happened was not merely bullying, but it borders on assault. Zulfa Khan reports.
The footage, which surfaced yesterday, has sparked national outrage. It shows a schoolboy being physically and verbally attacked by a group of fellow pupils, while others who are standing by can be heard cheering on the perpetrators. The incident reportedly occurred last week shortly after classes ended and involved learners allegedly including members of the school's first rugby squad. Basic Education Committee Chair Joy Maimela says the video is deeply concerning. She says the committee condemned this kind of behavior in the strongest possible terms and stressed that the incident borders on assault. Maimela called on the Western Cape Education Department to urgently intervene and report back to the committee, and reminded schools that the Department of Basic Education requires all public schools to implement and enforce comprehensive anti-bullying policies. Zulfa Khan, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
The former owner of the now defunct Sunshine Hospital in Johannesburg's East Rand has dismissed suggestions from MPs that it touted for road accident victims to keep its facility afloat. Kenneth Ford has told Parliament Standing Committee on Public Accounts that the 200-bed hospital catered for all patients who could pay their own medical bills and that it derived no additional benefit from the Road Accident Fund by treating patients transferred from the state facilities. During an inquiry into maladministration at the fund, opposition parties yesterday questioned the average spend per patient treated at the facility, which was forced to close down over the 300 million rand owed to it by the IRF. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
Kenneth Ford says the Sunshine Hospital accepted transferred patients who had been in car accidents from over 130 state facilities upon request.
I can tell you that I didn't pay anybody. If I did, I'd be on the road all day with a sack of money.
He was questioned by the EFF's Veronica Mente as to whether his hospital had benefited from the incapacity of state facilities.
If the state had provided the money and the structures for those hospitals, they wouldn't have needed to send those patients anywhere. I agree with you 100%.
An emotional Ford said the hospital could not be saved due to the negative publicity it had received from the RAF, which alleged corrupt practices against the facility that have never been proven. The MK Party's Talente Kubeka has asked Ford to provide the committee with a detailed log of how many foreign nationals, both legal and not, were treated at the hospital at the expense of the RAF. The inquiry continues today. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says South Africa is still not willing to bow to U.S. pressure to amend some domestic policies as trade negotiations continue. South Africa's refusal to make concessions on its own policies follows Washington's demand to review transformation laws, including controversial legislation on BEE and land expropriation. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration previously led a disinformation drive against South Africa, incorrectly claiming a genocide against Afrikaner farmers. Lamola gave a brief update on trade talks while speaking at the Financial Times Africa Summit in London yesterday. Nowokayam Dambo reports.
International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says South Africa won't compromise on its policies to appease Washington. Lamola says the trade talks need to be limited to economic matters.
Yes, that's our view, because we have got sufficient safeguards. If Parliament was not enough, there is a court. The expropriation bill is in our constitutional court, which is very independent.
Despite refusing to give in to concessions, Lamola says the U.S. is not letting up.
Yes, they are insisting that they should reopen, but sometimes, as I've said, some of it is based on a clear misunderstanding. Sometimes it is a clear understanding, it's just an ideological issue.
South Africa, which is being levied a 30% duty, has been trying to secure lower tariffs on exports for much of the year. Nogukanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 23 and 25 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to roadworks. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South approaching Olifantsfontein Road due to peak time delays.
The top story this hour: precautionary suspension letters have been issued to 8 Milnerton High School boys who allegedly were involved in the assault of a fellow pupil in Cape Town.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays
12 to 1.
How much buy-in is there from the ANC on this, and have you had a discussion with them about it?
This is the initial announcement of the bill itself. It is still going to be introduced through a first reading debate into Parliament. We understand we're in coalition agreement with the ANC and national government, but that doesn't mean we need to agree with them all the time. Fundamentally, we are here to represent the interests of voters, and we need to make sure that we call for the policy changes that are required in order to create an inclusive South Africa.
Matt Cuthbert.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for plumbers, electricians, and other tradesmen. Pumlani.
Switching to Outsurance was one of the best decisions that we've ever made. We needed business cover, over 15 million. Outsurance came forth for us. At Kani, we sleep better at night, knowing that we always get something out of Outsurance.
Switch to Business Outsurance, and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
It's time to hit the streets and show what you're made of. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's, is on Saturday, 8 November at 5. And this one's pure city magic, reimagined and revitalized through Josie My Josie. Choose 5K for fun or 10K for bragging rights. Not ready? Come on, if you've sprinted for a taxi, dodged potholes, or climbed stairs when the power's out, you're trained, aren't you? Getting there's going to be easy. It's via the Gautrain train to Park Station, and then you take a free Prasa train to Ellis Park. Lace up, show up, and enter now at racepass.com.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani and team. Sheldon here in Pretoria. Fully support the actions of the mayor, Johannesburg mayor, cleaning the inner city. 2 things quickly. 1, they need to be consistent. So once they start cleaning up, they need to maintain the process and the bylaws. That's 1. Number 2, this has been going on for years and years and years. So yes, feel sorry for the traders, but unfortunately, we can't keep going on like this. But I think what's going to be key here is that we maintain it. That's what's going to be critical. Not only doing it now because we've got to go into elections. Thanks, team. Have a wonderful day.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. Bongani, let the municipality apply by laws. Let them clean the city. We want the city clean. These guys, they can make up their informal trading in the city. We want to walk free on this pavement, and I'm not trying to be xenophobic. These informal guys, illegal immigrants, man. Let them clean the city. It's from Braamfontein. Thank you.
Yeah, Bongani, I remember the days when we used to catch the train from Birchley Station in Kempton through to Joburg Station and spend the whole morning shopping in Small Street Mall, going down to the Carlton Centre and having something to eat at Pumpernickel's and these places. And you were free and you were safe to walk. And this was up to about 2002 or 3. It was still safe enough to do that.
Gosh, hey? Think of all those hotels that were lost. The Carlton Hotel, the Johannesburg Sun. Think of the economic activity that could be still part of the Joburg CBD if only we could get it right.
EWN Sport.
All right, Cindy Paluta, I mean, in any test match, 100 is a psychological mark, right? In terms of being behind your opponent. At least the good news is we're over that little hurdle.
Yeah.
Right? Proteas men versus Pakistan.
Yeah, it's still not looking comfortable for us, is it though? Because they're now 246 for 8 on day 3. They trail Pakistan by 86 in the second test. They've lost 4 wickets today in order. Verena for 10, Stubbs for 76, Harmer for 2, and more recently Jansen for 12. Asif Afridi has taken 5 wickets. In the middle is Muthsami on 33 and Maharaj on 6. While the Proteas women got a 5th straight win to top the Cricket World Cup table, they beat Pakistan by 150 runs in the Duckworth-Lewis method. 312 for 9 is their highest total at the World Cup. Wolfart made 90, Liz 61, and Cup was unbeaten on 68. She also took 3 wickets.
I think it was a very good performance with the bat, the way Wolf and Sunaki set it up for us to come in and just lay it out. And yeah, a bit disappointed that we couldn't get the 50 overs in. But like I said, everyone's had a good hit out now. Most batters have confidence. Bowlers have been bowling well. So yeah, everything seems like it's coming together.
The only 2 unbeaten sides at the World Cup, England and Australia, battle today at 11:30. Aussies without captain and star of the tournament, Alyssa Healy. She has a calf injury. Banyana opened their Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifying campaign this afternoon against the DRC in Kinshasa. They're missing key players who are on club duty, and they don't have coach Desiree Ellis with him. She hasn't finalised her SAFA contract.
So she's not there?
It's fast. She's been on a month-to-month contract since the Olympics.
Yeah, ne? Safa. Always trust them.
Assistant coach Tina Mbuli will take charge. 3 games in the Betway Premiership tonight in Soweto. Pirates host Polokwane, Chiefs host Siwelele. Down in the Cape, second from bottom, Stellenbosch welcome Arrows. Selected results in the Champions League last night. The defending champions PSG thrashed Leverkusen 7-2. Barcelona beat Olympiacos 6-1 with a Lopez hat-trick. Eindhoven thrashed Napoli 6-2. Arsenal and Inter Milan beating Atletico Madrid and Union both 4-0. Benfica lost to Newcastle 3-0. Manchester City beat Villarreal 2-0. And selected fixtures tonight, Liverpool are travelling to Frankfurt, Spurs are away at Monaco, Bayern Munich are hosting Bruges, Real Madrid host Juventus. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
To sell or not to sell, that's the question. Whether selling a car, bike, boat or bakkie, WeBuyCars offers instant payment and a stress-free experience. Simply complete the form on webuycars.co.za for the best offer. Trading in or shopping for your next ride? Explore over 12,000 vehicles online or visit WeBuyCars in-store. So whether buying or selling, head to WeBuyCars today.
Running a business is tough. You need tools that just work. That's why more South African businesses are switching to Mac. At iStore, we make it easy with 4,000 rands in added value when you switch. That's 3 years extended warranty and remote tech support, leaving you to focus on everything else. Switch to Mac with iStore, your expert partner. T's and C's apply. Mac at iStore runs smooth as business should.
In a world shaped by those who build, disrupt, and reimagine, there comes a gathering not just of minds, but of futures. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank, is where top entrepreneurs, innovators, and change makers converge. It's where the future of enterprise is redefined. On 5 and 6 November, you could be there. Stand a chance to win tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit on 702. WhatsApp the keyword SAFT with your name and ID number, telling us how you would benefit from attending the summit to 072-702-1702. Then catch 702 Drive with John Perlman to find out if you're a winner. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank. Your summit, your way, on 702. TCs and more on primemediaplus.com. EWN Traffic.
All right, let's catch up with traffic. Amo, give us a roundup of the morning's traffic. It's been a busy Wednesday, has it not?
It has been indeed, Bongani, particularly for those traveling around the Alexandra Calvin areas due to those long-term roadworks that are taking place between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. While traveling on the Mike 1 North, we've got delays between Boysons and Empire Road. An accident has been reported on Klip Rifir Drive. This is near Boysons Road, and it's causing delays as well. So please be on the lookout there while traveling in four-ways delays on Winnie Mandela Drive between Wetkoppen Road and Leslie. More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Let me get this right, Ron. You're a plumber by day and Pretoria's smoothest wedding DJ by night.
Yeah, it started out as a passion and now I've got bookings until December. And a smoke machine that needs its own seatbelt.
And you sold your car to buy a van through We Buy Cars.
Brew, it was music to my ears. Zero admin, no long queues. They pulled in, checked it out, and before I knew it, I had cash in the bank.
Now that's a banger. We Buy Cars. Geared for your passion, geared for you.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Clement Manyatela Show on the radio between 9 and 12. And Clement is here to tell us what's on the show this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Coming up on the show, we start with the open line. We'll be looking at what's been happening in Westbury. The National Police Commissioner says they want to question the mother of the 13-year-old who died. Like, why was he involved here? But I really think that sometimes mothers really don't have information about what their kids do outside. So I want to ask the parents out there, what are you doing to try and keep the children out of trouble? Because you can do the best you can, but they can still get into it. But what's the little you're trying to do? So that's on the open line. And then at 10 o'clock, we take you live to the Madlanga Commission. There's some explosive things coming out. That's why we've been staying with that commission this week. And then at 11 o'clock, we wrap up the show with our listener's choice. Today, we're talking about APAC. Ever heard of the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee in the U.S.?
Yep.
What's their influence?
Ooh, how much time do you have? Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12.
Naked people always get dessert. Because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums, they've got more money for Mulva pudding, or cheesecake, or both. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds. And because it's all online, it also costs less. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start treating yourself like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do in facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going.
From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
Win a year's supply of fuel with Engine. Plus, stand a chance to win one of 5 double rugby tickets to see Wales versus South Africa live in Cardiff. To enter, spend 600 Rand or more when you fill up at any Engine. 2 lucky winners will win every week. Pay with the Engine One app and double your chances to win. T's and C's apply. Engine. With us, you are number one.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Citibank joining the IMF and saying they don't believe we'll grow by 2% this year. And in fact, it looks like we'll stay below 2% for the next 4 years. That's until 2030.
There's a critical ingredient that's missing in action, and that's gross domestic fixed investment. Until such time as South Africa gets into serious gross domestic fixed investment activity, the economic growth will be anemic.
Professor Adrian Saville.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA Corporate and Investment Banking, proud sponsor of the ABSA Africa Financial Markets Index 2025. The insights to guide you through Africa's financial landscapes are waiting for you. ABSA is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, welcome to another edition of Corporates That Care. This is where we put a spotlight, we shine a spotlight on corporates and individuals who are making a difference in South Africa using their brand power for change. Today, we are joined by Sean Summers, who is, of course, the Group CEO of Pick n Pay, to share their experience and their journey. And it all started during the pandemic with a relief effort called the Feed the Nation Foundation. And Pick n Pay have decided to retain it and go all the way to make a difference in South Africa. Sean Summers, a very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning, Bongani. Great to be here.
My question always, as you may know, is always at first, why are you a corporate that cares?
Because Bongani, Pick n Pay is so South African. It was built by South Africans, for South Africans. We employ 92,000 people in our company. I always say that every evening, at least 500,000 people to 700,000 people sit down and have a meal at home, some of them in very humble surroundings. So we have a huge responsibility, not only to the people that work for us and their families, but to society as a whole, because it's the society that has supported Pick n Pay and built us to who we are today.
You've been feeding the nation long before this campaign, but let's go back to the pandemic and what prompted Feed the Nation and what has it become since?
Funny enough, Bongani, when the pandemic did hit, I was obviously not at Pick n Pay at that stage. I had left and I in fact reached out to Gareth at that time. Because I just had a feeling in my tummy that things were not going to go well in terms of the interventions that were being put in place by government. And Gareth and his colleagues, along with Suzanne and Vince and everybody else, have done the most extraordinary job with Feed the Nation. And if you look at the numbers that have gone on post that now, I mean, it's some 225 million rands worth of food has been distributed. You know, the focus of Feed the Nation primarily is on child-headed households and children, because children are our future. You know, you look at this tragedy in Westbury yesterday and you just have a look at the devastation of what's happening with the youth in this country today. And we look at a lot of the more impoverished areas in this country. You know, hungry children can't concentrate, can't go to school, can't grow, and can't be the future. And that's why it's so important for us that we continue to invest in this very, very meaningful work that's been done. And it's been done by so many people. It's not just Pick n Pay. It's all of the companies and the people that get involved with us in this initiative. It's our suppliers. So it's an extraordinary call to action. And I suppose we're just privileged to be in the middle to be able to marshal these resources.
Look, and of course, you're uniquely placed in terms of your supply chains and your distribution networks to make sure all of this food gets to where, and well, all of this assistance really gets to where it's needed most.
Quite correct, Bongani, and that's why I say, it's a massive corporate effort from corporate South Africa, and I think that, corporate South Africa, I don't think really gets enough credit for all of the work that it does do behind the scene and under the covers. We live in this most extraordinary country with the most beautiful people in the world. I've worked all over the world, and the one thing that just hits home to me, having the privilege of coming back to Pick n Pay now and working with our beautiful people in this country, is just how extraordinary all of our people are in South Africa. We really have amazing people, and it's our job as the leaders to give them faith and hope for the future.
It's that can-do attitude. We make do with what little we have. All right, just explain how it works. I mean, I would imagine you have to partner with communities to be able to identify those most in need.
Absolutely. So we identify within the communities, from schools to community groups. As I said, we specifically focus also on single child-headed households. There are a lot of households today in this country that sadly are being headed up by kids. And we focus in this area of making sure that these people do get a nourishing meal and do get looked after. Because if it's not for us, who is going to do it?
You mentioned the word partnerships a little earlier on. As fantastic as Pick n Pay may be, this is not the kind of thing, at this scale anyway, you can do alone.
Absolutely not. And that's why I say our partners in this are absolutely extraordinary. And I mean, we have foundations we work with. So we work with the Khaleesi Foundation, and Rachel and Sia continue to do great work on that front. We've got EY Consulting, midday, V&A Waterfront Holdings, ABSA, Investec. The list goes on and on and on. And a lot of our suppliers that supply us as well in Pick n Pay, when there is a specific call to action, they're there.
What can your ordinary customers do to be a part of this? Because, of course, we may not have the depth of pockets as some of the partners you're working with there, Sean, but I'm sure every customer at a till point could make a difference.
Absolutely. And I mean, just one can. We have millions and millions of transactions going on perpetually in the company. So you can donate at any Pick n Pay at the till point. You can convert your Smart Shopper points over to Feed the Nation. You can also donate online.
So hold on, the Smart Shopper points, you would convert that to a cash value that then goes into purchasing what Feed the Nation distributes.
Correct. And then you can donate as well online at www.feedthenation.org.za. And then you can also use SnapScan or EFT through the website. And if you go on the website, it's all there. So really the humblest of contributions, even if it's a single item. If you add one item to your basket, you can donate.
Can other corporates still get involved?
100%. Any corporates can get involved. Anybody can get involved in Feed the Nation. This is a collective effort. This is about us just trying to mobilize all community, because we all similarly have a massive responsibility. And if you look across the world of retailers, I mean, not only Pick n Pay, our competition retailers also do their fair share of work in this regard as well. And we are the largest employers in the country as a collective, if you take across the world of retail. So I appeal to all my retail competitors, whoever they may be, sign up and join up.
Sean, you mentioned child-headed households. I wonder if there's an impactful story that will illustrate just exactly the work that is being done here and how it's changing lives or affecting lives.
Well, through the schools, we're able to engage with the teachers and principals who point out who of the kids in school are in fact heading up a child-headed household, and then this helps us direct the help to the people that really need it most. And as I say, children are the future in this country. And I just get very animated when I just see how some of the children in this country are treated, when I just see how the circumstances and surroundings that some of our children are being raised in, because children are the future.
Indeed, you've distributed over 200 million rands worth of food, as you say, 45 million meals served across the 9 provinces. There's so much being done. And as Sean says, corporates can still partner with Feed the Nation. You can go to the Feed the Nation site, feedthenation.org.za. And of course, if you're an ordinary customer, you can donate at any Pick and Pay till point, convert your Smart Shopper points to be able to help with this effort, or you can make an EFT contribution directly through the website. Sean Summers, thank you and Pick and Pay for being a corporate that cares.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of 702 Breakfast. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. It's 9 o'clock and the Clement Manyatela Show begins now.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. As police continue with an investigation into the shooting of 7 teenagers in Westbury, National Commissioner Fani Masimula has arrived in the area this morning. 4 gunmen approached the youngsters at a house yesterday. And opened fire in what is believed to be gang-related violence. 2 teenagers died and 5 others are being treated in hospital. Police have assured the public that the suspects have been identified and will be arrested soon. Masimula says Westbury is one of the regions where police specialized units investigating gangs have been deployed.
We will continue to reinforce the capacity in terms of more boots on the ground in these specific areas. It's unfortunate that it has happened that several times that police were attacked by the very same